Take us back to the moment you were kicked out at 14.
It was more a situation of me being told, okay, you're not going back to school.
What was going through your mind that night or that day?
Okay, I'm going to stay here forever. I'm going to work as a carpenter one day. School, I was told I'm going to change tires at Trend Tire somewhere and be a oil junkie, petrol jockey type of guy. And I think 5 months down the line, my parents said, no, we're going to send you to boarding school to Europe. So now I got bullied in Europe.
Some people talk about perseverance like it's a choice. For others, perseverance is survival. My guest today was kicked out of home at 14. No safety net, no backup plan. Figuring life out wasn't optional. It was the only way forward. He went on to get expelled from school, got into trouble more times than he'll probably admit, but somehow he found his way into creativity, then into business. By building one of the biggest YouTube channels of his time, nearly 10 to 15 years ago, he created an audience that earned him over $120,000 a year for a few years, making him the only Namibian to receive a YouTube plaque and an award for best educational platform in Southern Africa. He used that momentum to build ProStudio, one of Namibia's most seasoned advertising agencies, now partly owned by Namibia's largest hospitality and tourism group, Gondwana Collection. This is not just another conversation for me. I worked for this man before, for 8 months, for free, and he taught me more about business than I'll ever admit. This is not just another motivational story. This is a survival story. This is the untold story of Manfred, Werner. Manni, welcome to the More Than Logic podcast.
Thanks, Ignatius.
How do you feel
quite an
about
intro. Kind of like a straightforward one.
Yeah, I had to get you nice.
But you did some research there,
Mm-hmm.
must say.
I did, We definitely have to research our people, make sure we know everything that we need to know, and make you look good on this podcast. I think you've done quite a lot for people, for yourself as well, and I think it deserves to be out there. So I want to pop you with the first question. I've already done the introduction, so you see no need for you to do anything.
Yeah, 100%.
Take us back to the moment you were kicked out at 14. What was going through your mind that night or that day? And did you already know you were completely on your own?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
It was more a situation of me being told, okay, you're not going back to school.
Mm.
You're going to work in your father's carpenting shop. And basically, in my mind was going on, okay, I'm going to stay here forever. I'm going to work as a carpenter one day. School, I was told I'm going to change tires at Trend Tire somewhere and be a oil junkie, petrol jockey type of guy. So somewhere in the workshop, fix something. That's what they said. Hated that thought, actually. And then I think 5 months down the line, my parents said, no, we're going to send you to boarding school to Europe. So you're not going to become a carpenter. You have to still study. You have to still finish school. Just because you got kicked out in Namibia doesn't mean you're free of school now. Mm. So yeah, that was going on in my mind a bit. I thought like that's life now. Okay, I'd finished with school. I'm just gonna do carpenting. And, basically my parents sent me to boarding school in Austria, and then in the mornings you would do basically school stuff, and in the afternoon you go physically in the workshop, build stuff, learn how to work with machines and manufacture things. And then that turned into me actually doing my engineer at that school.
Engineering?
Yeah. In manufacturing and tool making. So I have my engineer in tool making. So I can be a fitter and turner in this country.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And then going to Austria and all that, what happened then? Like what happened in between there, because there's this whole gap. I think I started from the time where you were 14, and then I think I've seen a lot of videos of you posting funny stuff on the internet. You've explained to me before how you built your own YouTube channel, your own platform, and then going on into building ProStudio. So fill in this gap for me? Was there university? What was going on?
Look, it's quite a long story, but to shorten it a little bit, I was quite a rebel here in Namibia, naughty person, never listened, just always doing stupid shit, if I can say it like that. And when I was sent to Europe, I kind of met my same league, and I was locked in with others that were like me as well. So I used to be a bit of a bully as well at school. So now I got bullied in Europe from others, Russians, Ukrainians, Bosnian people, and so on. You have the same type of individuals there. So we are all problem children. And in that time, I was in a quite dark space. So I realized the only thing that gets me out of here is my grades, because that's the fastest way of me getting out. My parents also didn't really have the finances to fly me back every year to Namibia and to be again in Namibia and have holidays. Because here it's lekker lewe, man. You have all your friends around, everything is easy. So it was nice, a jolly time. But there it was just work, 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 and tough situation, sometimes in hostel. Yeah. So in my mind it was actually like, change your mindset completely. As fast as possible, get good so you can get out of this prison. That actually turned me into actually loving sometimes what I do. I'm quite a handy man, so I did the fitter and turner, and working a lot in the school was fun.
You built this whole studio.
Yeah, I actually did, but more about that later. So basically what happened is I finished my school there, then I was free to do whatever. I went a bit to Cologne in Germany. I worked there in, it's called Cape Cross. It's quite weird. The owner of that company loves Namibia quite a lot. That's why he's named his company after the Cape Cross area at the coast. He hires out equipment to big TV productions, like huge TV production companies. And at that time, I had two other Namibian friends, also a family member of mine. He was actually working there as well. And he basically got a job there and worked there. And he said over the holidays, hey, come and join us, help a little bit out. And I actually got into this world. So me coming from a complete DIY area or a building side, engineering, and now on this side, there was this creative. So in me has always been a creative. I was always creative in school, was good in arts, always liked being creative. But since growing up in Namibia, everyone just said, yeah, creative doesn't pay bills. So it's part later of this story also. When I told my father I'm going to become a photographer, he just rolled his eyes and said, oh my God, not another one.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not worthy. Like
an abomination.
Yeah, no, you're just like, oh, you're a photographer.
Yeah.
Oh, instantly people go like, oh, so you shoot horses outside.
Yeah.
Or can you make a living of photography?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're an engineer. Oh, okay, you might be well paid off and so on. So anyways, I went to Europe, worked there, enjoyed it, got a bit into this space, and had a friend, have a friend who did music. He always needed covers and record things.
Was that Ease music or?
Yes, it was Ease. And basically he asked me then to take some photographs of him. And, it's just kids. We were playing around and dabbling in this stuff. And so you kind of found an interest in it.
I've seen the music video.
Yeah. So... But just saying, I also was behind camera, right? Helping him. He was more the artist. So then, of course, that was holiday jobs and getting a bit into this space. Then from Europe, went back to Namibia. Then I worked here for literally 3 months in my job in engineering and had about 60K to my name, money that I saved and so on. So 60,000 Namibian dollars. Then fell in love.
That time it was a lot of money, eh?
Yeah. Not really.
Because bread was like what, $5?
Maybe like 10. A pie was already at $10. So yeah.
Nowadays a pie is at $40.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is 25 years ago. Anyway, so basically moved to Namibia, met my now wife. She was just done with school and basically moved to Cape Town, or was just done with the HBS grade 12, wanted to move to Cape Town. So, of course, I came back. My parents were very proud that a problem child has turned into an engineer and now found his first job in Namibia and back. Also, less drugs, less alcohol, less all of the other problems. You kind of found your better way, or your better self in this process of being in Europe. Not what I was, the version that I was when I was here. Oh. Cool. So, worked 3 months in that job. Then basically phoned my dad and said, listen, I'm in love. My girlfriend, back then girlfriend, is moving to Cape Town now. I will move with her and study photography. And then my dad was just like super upset. He was just like, you know what? You are over 21. Do whatever you need to do, but don't ask me for any funding or any help. That's you on your own going to Cape Town. You're out of our house. So I said, okay, cool. By the way, just to track quickly back, because a lot of people also think like, oh, okay, your parents funded the stuff in Europe and you were sent there. in Europe, if you have a German citizen or Austrian citizen, government actually pays for your school fees, but just school fees, not accommodation and other things, right? So my parents barely were able to pay for my accommodation. That's why they put me in a hostel. And then basically school was paid for, and we got like some lousy bit of cash for just spending money. So you at least have something.
Yeah.
So even in Europe, I realized the money was too little. I mean, it was back then already times 12 or 14, the exchange rate, like 14 rand for €1.
Yeah.
So it was tough for my parents also. They aren't the richest people to fund that. And in that moment, I also realized I need to just make more. Like you just asked me again at the beginning, the age of 14. Yeah, man, you're a kid. You don't even know how to make eggs. You know nothing.
Yeah.
You're like, you buy those knorr pakkie soups and you rip them apart and throw water inside and hard noodles. And then you're like, oh, that's my food now. So what I'm trying to say here is at that age, you don't have a lot of money. You also don't have a home. You have a hostel with bullies. So I had to learn how to really go and do side jobs. So at that moment, I had 2 friends that come from farms, or basically like a little, you know how it is in Europe, they have a little place where they have cows and so on. So I asked them to work there on Saturdays. So I just worked there because I also wanted to get out of hostel, because remember we locked in there. So and then at the end of the night, the father just said, hey, let me pay you just at least for your work today. So that kind of triggered the first, like, wow, I can do something in exchange for cash.
Yeah.
And so on and so on. So you even get clever with it, right? I'm going to tell you quickly a failgat story here. When we obviously wanted to drink a beer every now and then, right? So in Europe, you can bring your empty beer bottles back to you get basically credits or return.
Yeah.
It's like with the plastic bottles and so on.
Yeah.
So we would go and get somewhere empty beer crates with a whole 12 cases full of beer.
Yeah.
Go to the machine,
Yeah.
then take fishing tape,
Mm-hmm.
put it around that crate, slide it into the machine. So the machine registers once that it goes through. So you get credited one case.
You pull it out.
Then you pull it out with the fish tape and you push it in again. You do that 2-3 times and voila, you have made €10 with a machine.
Crazy.
So you do that until there was a camera and we almost got caught.
Yeah.
But then your whole, something is turning. You're like,
Yeah.
how do I make money? How do I make money with this? So,
Yeah.
because it's a survival mode in a way.
10
as well.
euros a day as a kid in boarding school, you're balling.
Yeah, and then you buy beer with it again. That was actually the problem. But at least you made $10.
Yeah.
So, coming back to Namibia, then moving to South Africa, my dad was super upset. But hey, you're above 21, you do what you do. So I went to Cape Town. Basically took all of that money, put it into a school called Vega College, and started studying photography at that college, so
Yeah.
to say. Then at the college, basically in between of the lessons, there were sometimes practical guys that would come out. So it's guys, photographers in the field that would give us physical training in the studio. So it's not just therapy, not therapy. What do you call it?
Theory.
Theory, not therapy.
Therapeutical theory.
Yeah, theory. So it's practical, and then in studio, basically, he would then one day say, "Okay, cool. Who wants to join me on a Saturday for a shoot?" I put up my hand. He chose me, and that one Saturday turned actually into 4 years. 4 years of assisting for free.
Crazy.
So I didn't get paid a dime for it, but he taught me everything. So it's basically skill transfer. You can assist me and help me for free, but I'll teach you everything you need to know.
So you worked for someone for 4 years for free.
Yes.
So you
That's-
can learn the craft.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a part 2. I know we've had a discussion once about it already.
Yeah. For the people listening. Yeah.
Should I continue?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically just assisted him for another 3-4 months. Then I just went to college, said, I know paid for this whole college, but F it, I'm out.
Yeah.
Quit the college, didn't get a degree. Cool. And then basically assisted him every day on sets and shoots and learned everything about
Yeah.
this industry.
4
And
years is a long time.
I know. And how
Yeah.
you might already be saying, okay, but Manni, you just moved to Cape Town.
Yeah.
How did you survive? How do you live there?
Yeah, that's actually my question.
So what basically happened is I worked at Deluxe. It's a coffee shop where they were roasting beans at the beginning. There wasn't even a coffee shop. So it helped the guys to roast beans, pretty much what Teleni does nowadays.
Yeah.
And then Yeah, would roast beans, and then later they opened a coffee shop, and then would work as a barista in the coffee shop. Because with photography and shoots, it's not every day full day.
Yeah.
You have like a Monday, there's a half an hour shoot or 2 hour shoot. Then Tuesday full day. Then Wednesday maybe just a half a day. Then 2 days nothing. Then you have another shoot. You know, it's not like full every day.
Yeah.
So in my spare time, I then worked at Student-Wise, handed out a lot of flyers on the street, tried to just, you know, whatever worked student-wise they gave me. Worked as a barista still, and then in another coffee shop just as a waiter. And that's kind of how I made a bit of money to just stay alive. You might also ask, okay, but rent in Cape Town is quite expensive. Yes, that's correct. So what happened is I actually crashed on my cousin's couch for 6 months. So basically moved to Cape Town, told my cousin, hey, I'm here for vacation. Can I crash on your couch? He's like, sure, man, no problem. You can hang a bit.
6 months later.
Yeah, 6 months later, he's like, okay, Manny, what is the story? Why are you still here? Are you doing some jobs in between and so on? And then he's actually, figured, okay, you live in Cape Town, you work, and we were living in the Tampon Towers in Cape Town. So for those who,
Towers.
yeah, we called them the Tampon Towers. For those who don't know, it's 3 towers against the mountain of Cape Town. So if you see the mountain, the Table Mountain, on the left, there are 3 towers from the 60s. They used to be the towers where all the nuns stayed. All the hospital staff and the nuns stayed in there. And then at one point, they got sold off to private people, and then now it's flats.
Yeah.
And they were quite stinky and stiff. It's like the cheapest flats you can get in Cape Town as well.
Yeah.
So we stayed there.
Now you call them Tampon Towers.
Yeah, because they always look like 3 tampons. Yeah. So basically, my cousin knew a landlord, was a German lady, old German lady, who owned 23 of those flats.
Crazy.
And she had very cheap ones and then really expensive one with a penthouse on top. So we went to her one day, and you also couldn't just rent a flat. You need to get introduced to her. And if she liked you, you even have a chance of renting something. If she didn't like you on day one, on the first sight, you already lost. So it's also like similar like a drug dealer. You have to get introduced to get something. You can't just walk in. Yeah, she looked also a little bit like it. She had red hair, and she looked like Priscilla from the Dalmatinas movie. She was this weird, crazy lady. Not black and white hair, but very crazy. So anyways, she liked me, and she got me a flat for 2K a month. That was a simple bachelor flat looking up at the mountain. Meaning, I know this is off topic already, but the 3 Tampon Towers. Yeah. You've been in Cape Town. It's super windy. That wind hits down from the mountain against those Tampon Towers like crazy. So at night, your window would go the whole night like boop, 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 boop. Even your toilet seat would go up and down like this because of the water pressure, not because of something else moving or so. No, it's just the water pressure. But it's so loud. It's a horrible flat that no one wants. That's the one I got. And then just crashed in that flat. So, and I had nothing, no bed, no nothing. Got some stuff along it one way. Anyways, fast forward, got a mattress, have all my stuff. Cool. Started assisting every day. And then at one point, Nikon, the brand Nikon, was actually sponsoring the photographer I assisted. His name is Moneri van Sale. He was quite good, so Nikon contacted him and said, can you please do a workshop for us? So present the latest new camera body, cool stuff. I feel like I'm just telling you my whole life story instead of you asking me questions. Yeah. So, but go ahead, ask in between. Basically, he started the workshop, and I was next to him assisting and retouching. I actually used to take a lot of his images and at night retouch, meaning I wasn't behind the camera yet, right? I was just assisting, doing the whole set. Maybe I can explain that also quickly. It's not like you just carry things in and out of the room and so on. You're an assistant. How South Africans do it is basically you go and do the whole setup. You need to know everything from camera settings, lenses, lighting, everything. The photographer is not even around. He chats to the agency or the client while you, the doer-see, so to say, setting up everything, even doing test photos. And then the photographer literally walks in, you pass him the camera, and he shoots. So that's what was my job. So I had to do the whole thing. Then basically that helped me to learn a lot about lighting and camera angles and so on. So I did that. But I wasn't allowed to shoot, right? And I also didn't have finances to afford a studio or rental or build it. You must imagine I would go to a set in a studio, build everything, test myself, learn myself how to do it better. He at the beginning also learned me, of course, a lot. And then at one point after 2 years, it was me just having to do the sets. But I was still not photographing. So I was literally in studio trying to do 2-3 test shots of you, who's maybe another guy assisting in the studio. Those 2 images were my only portfolio work. I could take that home and edit something to maybe one day have our own portfolio. Because in this industry, how you get work is you need a portfolio.
Yeah.
Right? You need to show what the shit you can do. So I wasn't allowed to shoot a top model and then take that image and retouch on it.
Yeah.
So it took me another year until I finally had the courage to ask him, hey, can I just have like one of these images to retouch on? I won't post it. I won't put it on my portfolio. I just want to practice retouching on it.
Yeah.
And he was super easy about it. He said, no, it's fine. Why didn't you ask earlier? I'm like, yeah, just out of respect, man. So I got the images from him, then started retouching on them at night and practicing more. And he also really liked my stuff, and now it leads to that workshop. So at the workshop, Nikon asked him to present, and he pitched me and said, hey, can Manni also come and retouch live? So he takes the photograph, I retouch live, and they, voila, we have a nice show. They said, sure, let's do it. So we did the event, everything went down smoothly. And on the event, there was a lady at night, she would come to me and say, like literally at 7 when we finished, like, yeah, I didn't get this one technique, can you show it again? And I was like, yeah, I'm tired now and I don't want to open my laptop again and do it, but let me do this for you. I'll do a little video, I put it out on YouTube and send you a link, right? So you can watch it over and over.
Yeah.
Literally after that event, I think the next day at night, I created a tutorial. It was my first tutorial ever did. Wasn't also professional. It was literally just a cell phone recording and very poorly done. Yeah. Recorded the video, put it out, and then went to bed. Next morning I woke up, it had 80,000 views.
Sure. On your first video on YouTube.
Yes. And there wasn't even a name, nothing. It was just how to Photoshop hair in Photoshop.
That's a problem a lot of people are experiencing, eh?
Yeah, I guess at that time, we're speaking now 18 years back. There was not a lot of Photoshop tutorials around.
You got 80,000 views on your first video.
Yeah. And that thing went a bit viral.
Yeah.
So what actually happened
was viral at that time.
Yeah, a little bit viral, yes. And a lot of people liked the technique. A lot of haters would also be out there and criticize me for showing all the techniques online. That was also a big thing.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people don't even know about it. Nowadays, everyone's like, yeah, show us the techniques. Back then, if you would share anything online, you would get all the professionals saying you're an idiot. You're sharing all our techniques, all our tricks. You're going to F with our trade. It was a difficult time. But what happened is actually I put out that tutorial, that video. In my mind, I was like, 80,000 views. Yeah. Wow, I'm going to be booked every day as a retoucher and make millions. I saw dollar signs on my arm. I was like running around high on dollars. So basically...
Like, if all of these people pay me $5 each.
Exactly. Or send me the images and would be retouching. Yeah. So I would go out and create another tutorial. Of course, I had to first get images. So again, I asked Mornay, can I use 1 or 2 images? Sure. What are you using it for? No, this and this. And then he actually gave me some old stuff. Said, Manni, this you can go crazy with. So that's how I started retouching and how I posted videos on YouTube for like maybe 2 years, just posting videos and videos. In my mind, hoping that more people would actually book me for a retouching or for an event or as a personal coach. But actually exactly the opposite happened. Nobody booked me. Everyone just commented, we want more free videos. So it was actually the opposite, it didn't help. I didn't make money from it. It was all for free. Yeah. And back then, remember, YouTube wasn't really around. Not a lot of people did YouTube. So all my friends and people that I met in Cape Town, they were like, so what do? You do YouTube videos for free every day? Okay. And then, inside they were like, what an idiot.
What a bum.
A dumb idiot. Yeah. Like, you do free videos. No one pays you for it. Like, no, it's like for me, I'm trying to build an audience. I'm trying to build a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So it took me actually 3 years to get my first 1,000 subscribers. It was like some nights it would kill me. Also, I would not understand YouTube fully. I would just do one video every now and then until I really realized you must take this more professional and more serious. You have to upload at least 2 videos every week and be consistent and show dedication to this channel. And also to try also and up your level. make it better and make it better and make it better.
Yeah.
So like I said, took 3 years, made the first 1,000 subscribers. In those 3 years, of course, was also still assisting. And then at one point, I met another German YouTuber who, his name is Calvin Hollywood, so actually very weird. He also was posting YouTube tutorials and everything. He was like quite the thing online. I would follow him. I would start following him as well. And because I didn't sleep a lot that time, I'd literally be every night, maybe sleeping 4 to 5 hours just to try, I need to be at the shop for baristering. I need to be available for assisting. I need to get my tutorials out. I'd literally spend all my time just working and not sleeping or being with friends. Like socializing was also a no-go. And I pretty much did that from the age of 21 to 30. I would not chill a lot with friends. So I would literally just work on my career, so to say. So in that time, I was up quite early one morning, and at 5 a.m. a blog post, back then blogging was still in. So that Calvin Hollywood guy said, I'm setting out a request for anyone who wants to join me for 6 months to be my assistant. I'm like, they wake up at 5 a.m. He just posted it. I literally just comment very harachatande, I will do the best job, or I will be the
best job.
And then he actually replied like 10 minutes later on that comment, said, hey, send me your WhatsApp or email. Back then, it wasn't even WhatsApp around. It was just Facebook messengers and emails.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
MySpace.
this guy's even replying. Yeah, MySpace was dead already. He's replying, so I'm like, okay, cool. And then he says like, can you Zoom me? Zoom call. I'm like, sure, you can Zoom call me. Put it on. And then he said, what? You are in Cape Town, you wake at 6 o'clock, and you can speak German. And I'm a German guy trying to find a German assistant in Germany. And you're white. That's super weird. You're not an African.
Lots of questions.
Yeah, and then he phoned me, and we actually chatted. And then realized he's serious. He's very serious. He would pay my flight to Europe and would give me cash for 6 months to assist him.
What was the pay like?
Pay was like 1,000 euros a month.
Oh.
Wasn't the best, but it's still something. I mean, now I'm currently assisting for free, right?
About
to learn
10 years ago, yeah.
And he was exactly my niche.
Yeah.
He was a full-on retoucher and photographer, so he did both. So I said to him, you know what? Yes, Bo, cool. Said to Monet, you know what? I'm going to go to Germany for 6 months. To my girlfriend, sorry, I'm out for 6 months. I have to do this right now. My flat, I'm going to pay it somehow with the cash to not lose it and go like literally in 2 days for 6 months to Europe. I had no flat. I don't know where I'm going to stay. I just knew the city he's in, and he bought my flight ticket. At least he was nice enough to organize me a little back room at some bar.
Yeah.
Believe me, that was also horror stories, which we're not going to talk about now, but it's a whole podcast on its own, Europe time. Basically flew to Germany within 2 days. Yeah, and assisted him for 6 months. And can I tell you, I did not do my research.
Where?
He is a professional retoucher and photographer. But before he was a photographer and retoucher, he was a military instructor for 20 years. So when I arrived there, I was lazy. I was an idiot. He broke me. The first 3 weeks, he literally effed me up. He's like, your timing is shit. Your this is shit. You're this. You have to also physically work out. He even sent me to a hairdresser to get my hair cut. And so back then I still had hair. So he was just like,
putting on Bleskop.
Yeah, not really, but he cut it short. But what actually happened is like he also took all my shit again out of me and made a better version of me.
Yeah.
And he actually did that for 1 or 2 months until I got better and better and better. And I actually also wanted to outperform him. So it became like this challenge to outperform your master.
Yeah.
So after 4 months, it finally got a bit better. He also calmed down. Then he just became this really nice guy. Before, when I met him, he was nice for 2 days, but then he was this instructor asshole type of guy. Now he's all of a sudden friendly, my best friend. Now I was like, what's happening? I'm confused.
Yeah.
And then he said, no, what I'm trying to do is like in military as well, we first have to break you until you become a super soldier, and then we can be friends. But then you also respect me. Otherwise, you always just gonna not respect me, right? So that happened, and then I assisted another 2 months, and those last 2 months, he really let me deep in, also on the business side, not just retouching and photography, because that's just the basics. Then how do you make a living of it? And actually assisting him for 6 months let me understand more about YouTube and also how to run this as a business. So I'm very thankful for him. He learned me a lot. But basically then moved back to Cape Town.
But how was that for you, being in that whole thing of going through this somewhat of a military experience? Because you come there, you just flew from a different country 2 days ago, and it's like, oh yeah, nice. 4 days later, the guy's shouting at you and saying things, you know.
I was literally, I think at week 3, I phoned my girlfriend at that night, almost crying, saying, you know what, F all of this is not worth my time. I'm going to go home because this guy is not lekker in his head and I don't know what this is. I thought I'm going to join a nice retoucher who's calm and behind the computer and we might work from 9 o'clock to 4, maybe retouch a bit.
9 o'clock
It
to
was
4, retouch a
opposite.
bit.
This guy was up every day at 5 and we would literally work hard to get stuff done. So my mindset, yes, it was quite difficult. But it took me back to when I went to Europe the first time at age 14, 15, that, you know, just fight through. Yeah. And I actually learned in that phase also, because he was also talking a lot about the Navy SEALs. Like how when you think you are done, you are not done. Your body can still do another 20%. You're just so exhausted. You just want to fall over and sleep or be, effed up. You are not. Your body can physically take another 20%. And he also did that in business. Like he would push me hours-wise to the limit where you are so tired that you're grumpy and you're hungry. And of course, the performance isn't great. But what happened inside of me is I started to learn that you can get so much more done in one day if you actually focus and work. And then also your body to train your body to not. I don't need a coffee right now or a chocolate or to reward myself. I can focus.
Yeah, that's actually one interesting thing that you say, because I'm doing now these TikTok videos where I'm posting every single day, and sometimes one person commented in the comment section, she was like, you seem so busy, I don't know how you can do all this without needing coffee. Then I just commented and I was like, I don't need coffee, coffee needs me. But the whole thing was, I think, is what I've observed a lot of the times, you know, it's like energy, it's like it's in the mind. I think it's one thing you also always say to me, it's like you or when you always make this joke where you say you're not tired, your grandmother is tired. It's a joke, nah? But when you really think about it, sometimes it's like, if you are tired, it's like, how must that older person feel? So if that person has more energy than you, then something is not right with you. And so for me, I find that energizing yourself a lot of the times, even if you've been working for let's say 4 hours straight or 6 hours straight and you're feeling exhausted, sometimes all you need is just a quick 5 minute, okay, get outside, reboot, refresh your mind, and then you're back in again. Because it's like the body can go 3 days without sleeping.
It could. Yeah, of course you start hallucinating and you're not lekker anymore.
Yeah, maybe. But just working 12 hours is like,
it's actually normal.
Yeah.
That's normal. I think 16 hours is also, that's health, not maybe healthy, I don't know, but it's pushing it. But 16 hours is what most people actually do, most successful business people. Yeah. They push easy 16 hours a day. But it's also what they say in Afrikaans, once the chocha bites you. It was also that happened with me later with YouTube and so on. Every minute you sit and do something, it makes you money. So you're going to push more and more hours. Yeah. And it also then it's like the chocha bit you now want to make more and more money. I'll elaborate a little bit now on it. At that moment when I learned with Kelvin, he broke me down like that. Later you get used to it and then you can also push yourself, your own body. I mean, I'd also say now it's a weekend or something and you go out to wherever on the weekend and you play something. Nah? When you're out on the weekend, anywhere where you are, say you're at the dam, you're tired after maybe 8 or 9 hours of being outside. Yeah. But if you go maybe a bit into the shade again and then just relax a little bit and actually try to push yourself a bit further. I mean, go on the whole day. It's hard for me to explain. Some people would just be like, yeah, it was a long day, the sun hit me and I'm tired now. Yeah. But if you actually then push on, it goes then maybe to night. And you might have a drink or not. Not saying that alcohol plays a role now, but you just stay awake. Stay awake and push your body further. For me, it became to a point where it's like a self-test also. How far can I go until my body really starts showing me that I should, after 3 days, maybe you should get some sleep. Yeah. Of course, there's also a lot of focus that gets, so some people might say, no, but that's nonsense. Your focus is not there. I agree, your focus is not there after time, but it's like in those hours that you are awake, how much shit do you get done?
Yeah.
And then, sure, sleep will come later. Like you can push till 12 every night, then go sleep till 5. You'll fine. Guys, this podcast can go for 3 hours. When I started ProStudio, I had a 5 a.m. club. People don't even know about it. We would be at the studio at 5 a.m. Then we would make coffee and play loud music, so loud you can't even have a conversation. That's how loud. It actually felt like you would go to a nightclub. So I would have later about 20 people that would join me just for the vibe. To wake up at 5, to be ready, to be pumped. By 6:30, you're in the car on your way to the office. These guys were pumped. They were like, great. I can now also push till 12 tonight because, of course, I'll do my job till 4, 5. Then I go home, I maybe have kids, I still want to do some DIY, you want to dig around in your garden, whatever you fancy. And then at 12, you're like, okay, by 10, 11, you calm down, reset your mind a bit. I'm a person, I don't really enjoy sitting then 2 hours in front of the TV because I think that also hurts your brain. I'd rather sit out in the dark and look at the sky or the city. Honestly, and then maybe even have a beer or a glass of whiskey. But in that moment, I reflect on the day. I think maybe about what's coming tomorrow, what needs to be planned, or what else is on my table. Yeah. So that's how I operate as a human being. And I just sleep then a good 5, 6 hours. Because it's what I say always in the office to you as well, man. When I pass away, I want to lie in that bed and just say, yes, fuck yes, I lived my life. I did so much. I tried so many different things. I don't want to be that person that like, I missed, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do this. I want to be proud of myself, actually, like that I've achieved so much and I did so much.
Yeah. But I actually have a question also more on the personal side, because you were 2 days, you pack up your bags, you go to Germany, you fly and meet this guy you haven't known, you're trusting that he's not a scam.
I mean, he paid for my flight. So.
Yeah, he paid for your flight. Well, he might have also trafficked you, you know? So you're sleeping in the back of a bar somewhere and you're away from your girlfriend. How is that also? Because I know this girlfriend is the lady who's your wife now, right? So how was that time for you guys, time away from each other? Because 6 months is a long time, you know?
I must say, actually, my girlfriend and now wife is always very supportive. So she said, whatever you need to do in your life for your career, do it. Like she respected that fully and also understood I'm going to go away. So she always left me a lot of free room to do whatever. Because what I always said, remember I just said earlier when I did tutorials, everyone was kind of laughing. It's like, oh, you do free videos for YouTube. You're an idiot. Go out there and take photographs and become a photographer now finally, right? And make some money. She was the only one basically supporting me and saying, I'm joining you on this journey. I see you have a vision. You want to create videos so one day those videos can make money. And sure, if you now need to go to Europe for 6 months, great, do it, pursue it. And then, of course, I phoned her as well. And she would then actually tell me, just stay strong. Just don't back out now. It's 6 months. It's quick, right? Just push through. And then it was another month and another month. And, of course, then I was realized, okay, it's halfway already. Just go on, just go on. And also I noticed the improvements on myself, right? It's like you going to the gym. First week it's tough, second, third, but after a month or two you see results. Yeah. So those results also turn into you saying, okay, now I'm gonna push through. Yeah. And I think that was just on a physical, like a mental level, mental level with Calvin, a new thing. Yeah. I had that similar in school when I was in Austria, but then with him, learned I can apply this in my own life and business. Remember, in school, someone always poked you with a fork and said, hey, you must go back to school. With him, it was for myself. Yeah. So back to Cape Town, now with this new mindset.
Also, now the 6 months is done, you're back in Cape Town, your apartment is still there.
Yeah. An interesting fact now that I think about, when I came back, I puked for 3 days straight.
Why?
Because all the stress was finally off me. When I was with Calvin in Germany, I was so tense all the time. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but you push yourself so far and you have a lot of pressure on you that once you find, like a big job or something, once you finally conquered it and you handed it off, your whole body shuts down. You like go into a super chilled mode. Yeah. And your whole body feels like, the pressure is finally gone. I got sick instantly. I had to puke for 3 days almost. I was just sick. Because now I finally got released out of prison. Okay, cool. So I was back in Cape Town, but now with this new mindset of, hey, push even harder. So I did then start 2 videos a week. Started working harder at the coffee shop. They even noticed, Manny's not this really chilled guy anymore. He's now pushing. You said it to me once before. You always have the sense that I have this sense of urgency. And I still have that in me. I don't know why. It sometimes annoys me also, but I every day have this urgency in me that I didn't finish my quarter. Or I still have to do some shit before I can call it a day.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm pushing more to get more stuff done in a day. Then I did 2 tutorials every week. Pushed that, baristed. Student-wise, got less and less. Did still waitering and so on certain times and assisting with Monet. And then at one point, Udemy opened. I don't know for those of you who know Udemy. Udemy was the first online training platform. They contacted me and said, Manny, we see you have about 200 tutorials already online. We would take all of them, bundle it for you, recut them, and what, and make a course for you on Udemy. And would make it for free, right? So it's the second course on Udemy. You know Udemy, right?
I know Udemy.
Yeah, Udemy training platform. So I said, sure, yeah, but I don't care. They're anyways for free on YouTube. Just use it. Whatever. So they did that. And then it ran for I think 5 months or so. And it got quite good followings. And a lot of people had interest and, of course, a lot of comments. And I wouldn't pay attention to the platform, right? I'm on YouTube. I want to become a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Until I got an email from a support person at Udemy saying, Manny, we noticed your course gets quite a traction on our website. We advise you to just charge $5 for it. We have this payment function now, blah, blah, blah. I said, guys, just go ahead, man. No one's going to buy that shit. It's for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
For real. And then they put up $5. Went to bed again. Of course, now I was curious a bit.
Yeah. This was $5 US, for a course.
Yeah, for a course, which had already 200 lessons in it.
Ah, okay.
But if you're clever enough, you can find those 200 classes for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
But here's a website that's selling it for $5. Just bundled with a nice thumbnail.
Yeah.
It's the stupid side of the internet. Everything can be found for free. I'm not saying you should reply torrents, but
unfortunately, people aren't always clever enough.
yeah. So you'll find a big majority of people that just found you there, don't do research, but instantly pay $5. Anyways, fast forward, I think a month or so, I made my first $100. That was my first money ever made on the internet, right? I do free YouTube videos. I go assist for free. I have to be a flippin' coffee shop guy there, a barista guy, and hustle everywhere to make some money. Now I got $100 times 18. Yeah, man, that's some cash now.
Yeah.
So, not cash, but of course, there the dollar signs really started glowing on my eyes.
$1,800 there already.
Namibian dollars, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, great. Now I can make money with this. So I started pumping more on Udemy and more. And then I think I converted about 4 million in 2 years. But that's now the nice, quick story.
Yeah.
What actually happened is I made money with it, made more money with it, and it would bundle up. There wasn't any payment gateways to South Africa. So they wouldn't do an EFT to you. They would later, Udemy had checks, same as Google also. Google then actually started with monetization. So on YouTube, you can now monetize your videos. Took another, I think, a year until YouTube South Africa finally had monetization. So Europe already had it. That was my time also with Calvin. In Europe, you already had monetization on YouTube. So I learned a lot about that and the trainings and so on. And basically it took a little bit longer to come to South Africa. In that period, actually, Google would send me green Google checks. If you actually go on Google and you type in green Google checks, you will find under images checks that Google wrote out 10 years ago for all content creators. That's how you were paid.
Let me quickly Google those.
And then basically I would be sent those green checks via the post. Yeah. So I would then get them and they were then like, okay, $50, $100, $500. Yeah. I don't know if you find, but Dini can blend it in here. So I would get these checks. I'd obviously then keep them and then go to F&B at one point. I had now a few together and it was like $1,000 in like 6 or 7 different checks. Then would basically go to F&B, stand in the queue, get to the teller. It's like, here are my checks. Can I please cash them in? And the lady looked super confused. She was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Then on the side, there's a door opened. A guy came out, said, sir, can you please come this side? So I went into that door, went into a room, and then the bank manager was there, and he said, please sit down. We have called the cops. This looks like a fraud scam thing here. You're forging checks. No, I never forged a check. But anyways, so
just putting it out there.
Just putting it out there. Maybe a driver's license, but not a check. Basically, the cops arrived, and then luckily on the back of that check was a toll-free number that you can phone. They did that. They confirmed the checks were real. Alles good. So cool. I can go again, but I was more concerned about, like, can I also check the cash? I need the money to make to pay my rent and to do something. Unfortunately, you can't check these checks with us here, sir. So yeah, everything is fine, but please leave with your checks again. So now I was sitting with $1,000 in this green Google checks that I couldn't cash out. And I had to pay rent. I had to make a living somehow. Plus, I produce free tutorial videos. So your mindset at that moment when I walked out of the bank was pretty low. Because you have to pay for stuff. Here, you're actually making money, but you can't get it. Yeah. And fast forward, it took another 3 years.
To get that money?
To get that money, yes. It was so difficult to get the first money. So I continued doing all of that. In total, I did 10 years of YouTube. So in those first 3 years of just getting 2,000 followers, then you finally get money making videos and Udemy, and you make money with it. It made you frustrated. Like I told you just now, 4 million in over 2 years. You would go online every day and log in and see that number. But I am living here poor as fuck because I can't afford my rent. I can't really afford proper food. I'm not socializing. I'm just working my ass off. I'm pushing my body constantly. So in my mind, it was like, one day I'll get that money.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
And so, yes, and you still keep on producing. Yeah. So a quick back thought on that is, my wife at that time, or girlfriend at that time, just said, Manni, just keep on doing it. You can see it has results. One day will you get that money. Fine. So just keep on going. She was my motivation there. A quick interesting fact. In the beginning when I just started dating, of course then we did YouTube tutorials. My girlfriend would always say, yeah, you always spend more time with your computer. You don't spend time with me. What, am I your girlfriend or is your computer your girlfriend? 10 years later when I started making money with YouTube, she would find me on the couch next to her and she would look at me. It's like, don't you need to go to your computer? Don't you need to go to, make some money? I'm like, Now it's a different story. Just an interesting fact there. But basically she was my angel there to push me through. It was a while until we finally got a way of, through PayPal, how you get some money back in. Yeah. And then what actually happened, then my life changed quite drastically. Yeah,
because it's like all coming at once now.
Yeah, so then what happened is I couldn't get all that money instantly because also I needed to pay taxes on. It needs to everyone was confused. Where's this money all of a sudden coming from? So no bank wanted to just cash you 4 million. Yeah. So I had to do it in increments, and then also I did a bit. I got a better flat. That was my first point. I need to have a better, more secure lifestyle. Not lifestyle, like a space where I can work properly. Build myself a little YouTube office.
How much was your tax at the time on 4 million, or in general?
I don't even know. It wasn't 4 million per se, right? It was now online on the bank there. So now it needed to be. It was always brought in little increments. So can't tell you anymore. I don't really know. But what happened is I got a little bit of money out, got a nicer flat. My girlfriend at that time also worked she did massages at a spa. And worked as a beautician in a spa. So she quit her job. She worked full-time with me to do all the admin stuff. And then we got a better flat, and we would basically just work every day from home doing YouTube videos. Occasionally
you and her, or just...
Yeah, just us both.
Okay.
Yeah. But we would have that mindset of you get up at 7, you do your work till 5, then we still work out, still work at night. So it was literally like this little home... How can you say? Basically, what you do, what you plan to do, to get like a little flat with like-minded individuals and just make it a workhouse until you make it a bit. We did that for quite a while. What actually happened in that moment still? I actually started doing also photography work. I bought some gear and started with Monet to get some gigs. So I would also start shooting and being a photographer.
So she was your assistant?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
She did more the admin stuff because there was so much admin stuff also.
Yeah.
I had more friends that always helped me with all the photography stuff. So I bought some gear. With that gear, I also started now to produce content again for YouTube. Remember, I'm doing a Photoshop and retouching channel. So I started going out and do Photoshop. So I would book a studio, do some photo shoots, ask. And it's also still a long story in between. I actually at one point had an encounter with Jack Parow.
Jack Parow,
the Afrikaans music rap artist. He was literally just up and coming. And he actually lived in in the Tampon Towers. Later, there was penthouses. The top floor, the whole top floor was a penthouse. He was an up-and-coming artist, so he would get that flat. So I was now moving out of that shit bachelor flat. It's a story in between. Out of the bachelor flat, this was me now making a bit of money from YouTube, but still not accessing the full amount. I got a little bit better flat at the front with a view onto the harbor, right? I had whole Cape Town in front of me, and I could also see the parking lot. And I could see Jack Parow one day because I'm at home doing tutorials, right? So I could see Jack Parow arriving in his little. He drove back then a Golf, whatever.
Those
Golfies, yeah. He would stop at one.
City
I'm like,
Golf.
hey, that's Jack Parow.
Driving in City Golf.
Yeah, coming to his flat. I'm like, okay. Next day, again at one. Jack Parow coming with his Golfie. Third day, fourth day. After 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, fuck, this guy lives here.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, hey, if I can photograph him, that's also an entryway for me to get into the agencies and maybe into professional photography work while I'm doing YouTube, right? So I would actually, there's a lift in the Tampon Towers. So the first day I would go into the lift and it was super awkward. You didn't even say hi. He was just like, and he's like, in the lift, okay?
Sales skills were very low.
Because I had stayed at level 8, he stayed at level 13.
Yeah.
So I would see him arriving. I run to the flippin' lift, get in, drive down, pretend like I was just coming from ground.
Yeah.
He would get in, see me, nodded at me, and go up. We stop at 8. He's like, and no words were exchanged. Okay, day 2, I do the same. He looks at me, okay, the guy maybe lives here. Day 3, day 4, day 5, he's like, are you coming home the same time? Like, hi, how's it, man? How's it? Yeah. And at day 7 or 8, he was like, okay, what's happening?
What's going on
You're
here?
also in the same place every time I'm in this lift. And then what I actually did is on day 8 is I took a lot of images along. And it was very, not stupid, but I found it quite good. In the lift, I accidentally dropped all my portfolio work. But I would like literally throw it on the floor, like with the pictures to the top. Like. And then he would like, cool, that's this. And I'm like, I'm a photographer. And then he would be like, yeah, cool shots, man. Yeah, cool shots. I'm like, in that moment, here's my pitch.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is my chance. Hey, man, can I take some photos of you? This is because like me thinking also that's my entry. Like one side I wanted to do YouTube and the other side I wanted to do big photography work in South Africa. And he was just like looking at me. He's like, didn't really say, yeah, cool, let's take a photo. Because I guess he was quite famous already, had a lot of people approaching him. So he was pretty much annoyed with me.
Yeah.
So he just said, yeah, you know what, come by my flat one day. You know, I'm living at 13, you know it every day, so just come by. It's like, okay, cool. So I actually wanted to go right now, but I don't want to see you too desperate. So, okay, out of
like,
the lift.
I can shoot you right now.
Yeah. So I'm out of the flat, back into my flat, sitting there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the whole day at home doing YouTube tutorials. So, okay, I wait at least a week. My girlfriend also like, wait at least 2 weeks. Okay, waited. Literally, the day I'm preparing myself. Okay, he's at home, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Don't want to make it too awkward. Right at 1. So at 3 o'clock, I go to his flat, ring. So no one opens. I'm like, but he's at home, man. He just came home at 1 p.m., right? Ring again. Takes a bit until he opens the door and he's fucked up. He's really stoned. He's completely stoned. And he looks at me, he's like, yeah, damn, I thought it's the pizza that I ordered. And like he genuinely thought I'm from Debonair's bringing his pizza. And he's like, because he looked in my face and I could see his disappointment. I'm like, shit, is he really disappointed with me? And then he opened it, he's like, You're not the pizza guy, but okay, whatever. Just come in. So I walk in, and the flats, you would walk in straight away to the living room, and on the left is a kitchen, like a little counter there.
Yeah.
So I walk in, and as I walk in, I noticed there are two guys discussing things, and I didn't really pay attention what they were discussing. So I was just following him. He was sitting down, basically back foot on top of the couch, taking his PlayStation remote and playing FIFA. Yeah. Continue play FIFA. And I'm like literally sitting next to him now on the couch, TV here. He's lying there, super awkward.
Eating Devanese pizza.
No, the pizza didn't arrive yet, right?
Oh,
so I think he was grumpy also, hangry. So playing PlayStation, not talking anything to me, not paying attention to me, just looking at the bloody TV and playing PlayStation.
Yeah. And you're playing as well.
No, I'm not.
You're just standing there.
He's just playing alone, right? I'm just sitting there awkward.
Yeah.
And then I'm like sitting there, and all of a sudden I noticed the two guys in the kitchen having an argument. Like and discover, and we need to do this, and we need to arrange this, and then who's gonna shoot this? And you guys have on top of crazy ideas, who's gonna execute it? No photographer is gonna do this or that. Until Jack Parrow at that one point, he was just so gutful. He was just like, looked at him, looked at me. He's like, fuck, guys, here's the photographer. I said he's going to come. And he just did this and continued playing. And at that moment, I looked at him. It's like in a time lapse. The two guys were turning around. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Like, oh, wait, okay, this is my moment. So I just got up, walked to the bar. And they said, okay, you going to shoot this or what? Parrow talked to you. Do you know the brief? I knew nothing. I just said, yes. Alles shop. Let's do it. Yes. At that moment, Ignatius, I didn't know what hit me. They had the craziest ideas of Jack Parrow fighting a monster on a little lake with a top model. And I needed to get a lot of lighting and stuff. But anyways, fast forward. I just said yes to everything without knowing what I'm letting myself into. And that was actually my entryway into having photographed Jack Parrow's second albums. Yeah. It was such a weird moment how I got there, because I approached him also, I think, 2 years prior in a bar when I was very drunk, but that was just the wrongest move ever. It never ended up good. This time I got the gig, and then that actually led me to photograph a lot of South African artists, even AKA, who's dead now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did AKA's cover, I did Mendoza's cover.
Wow.
And that led me to shoot a lot of other commercial
impressive.
work. And then Audi and Volkswagen did a lot of work for them.
In SA?
Yeah.
Wow. Those are some nice gigs here. Did you get paid for the Jack Parrow gig, the first one? How much did you make?
No, the first one I didn't get paid a dime.
Yeah.
I got paid in brandy coke.
Brandy coke? Yeah. Brandy coke and the shout out.
And shout out, exactly. So basically that helped me to get some portfolio work, some money. I accessed some from the YouTube. Built. Yeah. And really, I don't know how long we're recording already. Feels like 2 hours. Yeah. This money, I then, at that point, my wife said, okay, back girlfriend, she wants to move back to Namibia. Because we both born here, grew up here. She said, I want to move back to Namibia, start a business here or something, and actually, just have kids here and get married and so on. So I had this option now. Either I stay in Cape Town and...
where you're building a reputation for yourself.
Yeah, and be this photographer and maybe do YouTube full time and become bigger.
Yeah.
Or I also moved to Namibia. And my wife is really like, she wants to move to Namibia, so no options. If it doesn't work out, then I must stay alone in Cape Town. She wants to move back. So I said, okay, no effort. I'm going to go with to Namibia. We crashed at her parents' place. And I actually took some of that money again and then had the thought, okay, let me get a studio. Let me get a space, rent a space. And let me also do YouTube full time in Namibia. Why not? It's the same like in South Africa. I'm just now in Namibia. But then again, there was a lot of other hurdles. You didn't have professional studio space. There wasn't so much gear around. And so I started, the ProStudio wasn't around the beginning, right? The name ProStudio wasn't around. It was just me hiring an empty warehouse. The first thing we did is we built a bar in the empty warehouse.
A bar in the empty
warehouse? Yeah, we needed to have a bar so we can have parties. So we built a bar and then an office space.
Your priorities straight.
Yeah, I just enjoyed inviting friends from Namibia again and having a good time. But basically, it was an empty warehouse, bar on the side, top level was just desks, and then we would basically have our office there.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I would hire then Yaku, my now partner, and Nikki, 2 guys, and they would just help me every day with tutorials. And we would just do tutorials and tutorials.
Yeah. So the tutorials were bringing in money at that time.
And then we could also access it later. You could actually access that money via EFT. All the payment gateways would open, not PayPal's, PayPal.
PayPal, yes.
PayPal opened.
And that was about, what, 10 years after you had started YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
But what I actually wanted to say earlier also is it was actually good I didn't reach that money in the beginning because you were young and dumb. I would have just spent it on stupid shit. It was good that it was so long there and now you have 5 years to think what are you going to do with that money once you have it, right? That gives you a lot of time to reconsider, not buy a new Bucky, not buy a new this. Maybe I should start a company. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. So it's you start thinking better about it. So imagine you get 4 million instantly. You're definitely going to spend a bit now. Yes.
You know.
So it was good for me to not have that money right now or right away, access to it. Anyway, so I did start out. We did tutorials in Namibia. We did more and more and more.
Yeah.
And then at one point, I got a way in with Weatherman & Co. That was back then. It's now called Brand X, ad agency. It was called Weatherman & Co. Someone from that space knew me and he said, Manny, can't you do 1 or 2 productions for us? Sure, said, I can do it. Because again, my mind was, hey, let's do YouTube. And locally, I can also do some local content productions. And then started doing that. Got more and more gigs, more and more clients phoned. And then at one point, our phone was ringing constantly for doing photo shoots and then all of a sudden also video productions.
Yeah.
Me coming from YouTube side, back then you must understand no one did Facebook. You had 2 or 3 IT companies managing Facebook pages.
Yeah.
Not doing content on a weekly basis like we do nowadays for your Facebook and Instagram. Right? It was just like, we manage your Facebook page for 5K a month.
Oh, he's saying I must sit properly.
It's okay. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so it wasn't, people just had a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Cool. You pay 5K for having a Facebook page. There's no content.
So people would pay you $5,000.
Not me, IT companies.
Yeah.
Before I started Facebook pages for clients.
People would pay IT companies $5,000 just to have a Facebook page, no content, on a monthly basis.
Yes.
That's
just
crazy.
to have a Facebook page because
You're not
now
posting
Facebook,
anything.
Nothing. There was just a nice banner, information was in there, contact details. It was basically like just a contact page.
Yeah.
People were fooled. A lot of companies were fooled. They would pay, say, 2 to 5K retainer every month to have a Facebook page.
With nothing.
With nothing on it. And I questioned these things. I then said, that's absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
Why? What? I'm here producing photos and content. I come from YouTube. You need to feed your audience. Then you're going to have more views and it's going to make... That's marketing, right? Then we make sales from it. So went to a few companies, pitched something, made a little booklet. Shop. Signed a retainer. That was my first ever social media retainer.
Which one was your first?
If I think about it now, it was, I think, Gondwana.
Okay.
Gondwana was one of the first. Gondwana collection in videos. And then it was plastic packaging in terms of posting and poop kivets.
So you're telling me you landed Gondwana on your first try?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It was a few people involved to get us there and a few videos. In the beginning, when I mean social media, we didn't do right away social media management for Gondwana.
Okay.
We just did videos, like 1 or 2 videos for them. But it was kind of like a little retainer for us in the company. We could do 4 videos at least a month. Great.
Yeah.
But social media-wise, Facebook-wise, I think it was plastic packaging, the first client.
Okay.
That said, hey, we'll pay you 5K and every week you produce something. And then Poepkewitz Megabuild also. That was then our biggest retainer at that time.
The 5K?
No, that one was even bigger.
Oh.
But I'm saying
How big?
As a name, I'm not going to mention it.
Yeah, it's 10 years ago. It's 10 years ago.
So, but what we actually did then is we grew ProStudio in 3 years to 20 employees and 5 freelancers, but technically 20 full-time paid employees.
20 full-time paid employees.
Mm-hmm.
How much cash were you guys bringing in with 20?
750K a minimum to cover everything. 800 to 900 with profit. So that 750 was our minimum turnover that we need to make to cut.
To just
to break
cover
even.
Because I'm thinking 20 people, it's
a lot.
It's a lot of salaries.
Yeah. You have graphic designers, videographers,
Yeah.
photographers, account managers, an external accountant, and noch an external videographer.
Yeah.
But what actually happened is we were the first to do social media management. Not properly. I think we could have improved here and there, but we did.
You did it better than
We
the
did
IT
content.
guys.
Yeah, I mean, you come from IT where there was nothing. They
Yeah.
did the IT stuff. So now we would go out, plan a content, shoot something with a company, produce some cool stuff, and then post it. And of course, work together with the marketing department within that company to make some nicer
Yeah.
Facebook posts. And then boosting and all that stuff started. So we also started boosting and so on. Just meaning that we grew quite quickly then, because we were the only ones around. And then Ogilvy, Weatherman & Co., brand X was not, that was Weatherman & Co. It was still Black Advertising, AdForce, Advantage, and all these companies would book us to produce content with them for their clients. And then still outside jobs, right? Plastic packaging, for instance, we do your Facebook management and do posts every week. But now the CEO feels like, hey, we need a company video. How does our factory, like a how it's made video? Can you do that? I said, sure, okay, let's make a how it's made video. And then we did the how it's made video, and that was a great video. And then the next company would phone, and then Rent a Drum would phone and say, hey, we also want a how it's made videos.
Yeah.
Remember back then, just for all the listeners as well, we had no drones, guys. There was no drones and shit. Like now, like we had our first drone was the Phantom 1.
Uh-huh.
Or Phantom 2, where you had to 3D print a GoPro 3 mount that we would zip tie or cable tie to the drone, turn on the GoPro, and the only thing you could see from the drone is green or red lights. Green meaning it goes and red comes back.
Coming back.
Then we would fly that fucking drone,
Yeah.
just randomly, whatever, over
Oh, and
stuff.
people were amazed by the thing, eh?
It was amazing, but when you see the footage, it was just like this. There was nothing stable. And then also the GoPro face down instead of like this. So all the shots over the company looked shit.
Camera stabilization was
So it was different level also of frustrations. But that basically led us into growing more and more, grow a business from it.
You grew a company with a drone that flies.
Yeah, we did that. We did that. So yeah, it was just like growing ProStudio more and more until COVID. Yeah, COVID we also got a bad, like really a hiding. So we got hit hard as well because most marketing companies cut budgets left, right, and center. So we also downscaled, tried quite a lot.
Yeah, I think in a time like that, most companies would just cut the marketing budget first because I mean there's no business coming in, so you lose business overnight, literally. And how was that for you experiencing COVID? Because, I mean, you're going from being able to have 20 employees, and I can imagine over the first, let's say, 2 to 6 months of COVID, your team probably halved.
It more than halved, yeah. But it was also like in my mind, it was always YouTube would be the savior one day, right? You can go back to YouTube and just do that. So it's fine, we'll make money somehow. And at the beginning, I also didn't really take it so serious, COVID. I thought it's just a little phase, like maybe 2, 3 months, 5 months, and then it's over and we'll be back to normal. There's still so much more I can talk about within that COVID space, because we actually notified, our team was big, right? 20 to 25 people. Now I notified my current, or that time landlord, I'm going to quit my rent, I'm going to move out. We found this space we are in today, signed the contract for double the rent to what we had. So more burdens on us. Plus we had to move and rebuild a new office here, right? Then you spoke earlier, I built the studio. Yes, we all built everything ourselves. We don't have a contracting company who built it. Yeah. So on top of, there are costs and more work ahead, right? But the future looks green, everything is good, we're going to get that income. COVID is just the thing in Europe. So we signed everything, and literally as I signed, 2 weeks later, lockdown. And everything happened. I was kicked out at the old space. So in lockdown, I don't know how many bucky loads I drove here. Cops stopped me numerous times. Always said, hey, I got kicked out. I can't pay my rent. I need to move to my new place. And the cops were like, yeah, get the F out of here. So yeah, moved here, rebuilt the office space. But in that time, I was also like, it's just going to be a phase or so. It's going to go over quite fast.
A 2-year phase.
Yeah. So a lot of things then changed also again. But we still survived. We still made arrangements. The lucky part was also, look, your team is downscaling, so costs are going down. So you were still able, but we were still, some clients were always lenient, like Ondwana as well. They helped us a lot in that time. They didn't have money to pay, but we still kept our mindset of let's still produce for them for full. And when times are good again, they'll repay us for it. That actually also happened. So we would barter deals with clients to stay alive, so to say. But maybe I can chat a bit more about the YouTube side.
I actually want to hear about this whole COVID thing quickly, because it's like you are going now from, like I said, the team of 20, scale down to what? I don't know, 5, 10
Yeah, it was 10 first.
Yeah.
And then only 5, and then only 2.
Yeah.
Me and my partner only, and then we upped again.
How were the conversations like with people? Because you probably had some people that were with you for over a year, and now all of a sudden
some were very tough, some were very sad.
Yeah.
But you must also understand, a lot of people were scared, right? So people moved to, say, Vlotskabaken. I don't know if you know Vlotskabaken, it's that little town above Swakopmund. Or people would move to a farm or so. And now it was the first time ever people would be able to work from home. We also had to just test that, right? We just told our insurance, all the computer and assets, they will just go with the people to their houses. No problem. Now you have a graphic designer who's used to work at your office, who's now actually working at home. So what happened also, there's a mind shift change there in that person. Because now after another 2 years, right, I asked, okay, everyone back to the office. Let's work again from the office. And that's when we also had a lot of resignations, because people would be like, hey, no, I can do this on my own. I actually don't need you anymore. I can be a freelancer. And I actually enjoy working from home more than in this stinky office. You know what I mean?
And so get more clients or whatever.
We can actually say stinky office because there's a stinky river here. So that was stinky. But what happened is also people they were most scared about job security, some. Others were like, I have a freelance job now. And others were like, no, I'm enjoying this working from home thing. It's nice. So I'm going to keep it that way. I'm going to resign, but I'm still happy to be a freelancer for you. So that's also a shift that happened in that moment. And it was easier, you know, the tough conversations, yes, but some were easy.
Yeah. What was one thing you would say you learned from that whole experience, from working with people, from basically losing everything in out of your control? What were some lessons you had?
It was good.
It was good.
It was good that it happened. It was good for me. It was good for my partner. It was good for all of us.
Yeah.
Because, we started out in Namibia doing this. In 2 years, we grew from 20 people. I never managed any people. I never employed any people, right? I'm a YouTuber at home doing content. I never worked in a corporate job. I don't know how HR works or any of that. Now, all of a sudden, I have to manage 20 people. We had no HR office. It was Wild West at our office. It was kindergarten. Yeah. Just saying, we skyrocketed, right? We started and skyrocketed 20 people. Then COVID came and down again. So I now experienced what it is like to have 2 to 5 people and what it was having 20 people. And just a lot of people always say that also about business. The human management and people management is what sometimes eats you. And it also ate me a lot. Yeah. Where now I think my lesson that I've learned out of this is take it slow. Don't copy me and do this rocket thing. It's really not healthy. Because once the money was there, but you asked me earlier, what's our minimum figure? Yes, 750K we needed to make every month just to keep everyone happy. So it wasn't really life-changing money for us, like to me or my partner.
You as a business owner,
we just paid bills, right?
Yeah.
We kept everyone happy. We tried to make everyone satisfied, so your job is pleasant. You don't want the latest, greatest gear. You don't want the shitty clients, right? We were just plugging holes. But that wasn't healthy. It went too fast, too big. Do you get what I'm saying? So certain people have businesses where the father has worked maybe, or the grandfather, whatever. They worked that thing 50 years up, 80 years. There's a system in place. It works. With us, there was no system in place. There was also no manual. We were the first to do social media management. My father asked me at one point, okay, you're back from Cape Town. I don't know what drugs you're dealing here, but clearly you're making money. What is this operation? I said, then we make Facebook content, YouTube videos. It's like, what shit is that?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, he thought I'm really a criminal. Yeah. Until I showed him, actually. And you must understand, there's a lot of people that thought that. So Yeah, we went too fast, too big. It was just so much going on what isn't healthy, and there was no system in place. It was just Wild West.
I think it's also a thing where you learn that sometimes with people, you don't always need a new employee all the time. Sometimes it's just about increasing productivity within the team, which is something I've learned also myself. Not that I've had that many people working together, but as you saw, we had a time where we were like 8 people on the team or something. And one day you just come to work and you're like, what is everyone actually doing? You know?
Yeah.
And then you quickly realize the amount of work you were trying to do with 8 people, you can do it with 3.
Yes. Yeah. And often I feel just like there's no control anymore. You just have too many people. You don't know what's going on. You're making money. Somehow there's bills being paid, and later you have a finance person, and wow, we're making cash. But what are we actually producing? Am I still proud to stand for that? Like you later find yourself. I even had those situations as well, where clients were trying to reach me, not the videographer, and ranting at me for the shit that we've produced. And then I'm like, yo, I don't even know about you. I didn't know what we're doing for you. So it got too fast, too big. You lost control. Really, that wasn't healthy for us. So COVID helped a bit with like just calm down again a bit and actually do things a bit more calmly to... Like, remember, I never worked in a corporate job. I never worked in a big company. I also didn't know all these procedures and how to maybe slowly build it properly so that you can keep quality, consistency at the right prices and a standard. Yeah. We just skyrocketed. Yes, next retainer. Changa, cool.
Okay, and how old were you at that time?
32.
32.
Between 30 and 35, 32. 36.
Yeah, you're making way more money than a lot of these 50, 60-year-olds. But like you explained, it's like you had a lot of overhead, whereas like you're just spending money. You don't even get to keep as much for yourself. So it's like...
Yeah, and that's also... wasn't that healthy, right? Because there was no system in place. Yeah. We were just plugging holes all the time. Yeah. Then you had also people... Like a simple story. We employed someone, said, great, you can do videos, cool, work for us. This is your salary, 15K, okay, cool. Do that stuff. After a year, that person comes around and says, okay, I think I'm actually pushing like 100K for your company. I want a raise. So I'm also a bit at his mercy because I'm like, I need him. He can't just go tomorrow. What will I do? So, okay, you're right, cool. Give you 20K a month. Yeah. But that was poisoning, man, because now the next person's like, okay, that guy got 20K. I'm also going to ask for 20K now. Because you were like, really handcuffed. You need to get those productions out. Yeah. You needed the guy. But I'm actually saying there's no performance reviews. There was no HR. There was no system in place to say, hey, yes.
You don't even know if he's actually pushing that 100K.
Yeah, so it's just, it was just we skyrocketed and had too much clients. COVID helped us to come back to the ground. Yeah.
Nice.
And what I still wanted to say in that is also the YouTube side. YouTube actually was at that time also still going good. And I always call it the stocky lekker. I think too many clients showed me that nice stocky lekker, which I rather grabbed than instead of going with the YouTube route. So after doing ProStudio for a while now, I've neglected a lot of my online stuff. Very, very much. It is just... starting to work so much in the local space that you neglect more and more the online stuff.
Yeah. Whereas the online stuff would have allowed you to make more for yourself, basically.
Not really that. Yeah. It maybe make more, yes, but it was more life-changing money because it's US dollars, where locally here it's so tougher. You must work twice as hard to make the same buck. Yeah. And also, remember this, YouTube is a product where here locally it's service. You offer a service of, I'll help you to grow your YouTube following or your Facebook and manage it and create content. It's a service-orientated thing. Yeah. Every time you get a new brief, okay, let's execute that. You have Tatekulu as a client, so Tatekulu and you meet, okay, what is it that you need? It's service. You give him a service with your team, you guys service him. YouTube was more like, I'll produce this, put it out there, and if whoever likes it can purchase it. So it was also, there's a different field.
Yeah,
there's more revenue
terms,
and also you can produce faster and more. So it's I think you need both actually. You need to have worked locally or in the field. Doesn't matter if it's local. You need to work in the field to also know what you're educating on the internet.
Definitely,
Because a lot of people will quickly call you out and say, Ignatius, great for all your things on the internet, but you're a moron. you never did this, or you never did this.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a lot of hate in the beginning on YouTube also. Got called out so many times that I'm a moron and an idiot and an arsehole and what all. From trolls, people that just didn't like me sharing tutorials and techniques, just like the secrets. There's no secrets, man, but it's just techniques. Taught that I shared for free. People would hate me for that. Until at one point I got so much following that my followers would actually attack the haters. That was weird. So you would see even at the bottom people say, yeah, let's get into a fight in the comments section. And then you would see like followers that would follow me every week to hate on one guy who would like comment, this guy is an idiot. And then they like, you're an idiot. You're here once a week. This guy's pumping out 2 tutorials, quality tutorials every week. Who the fuck are you? Go F you. It was an interesting time,
And tell me, I mean, you've built, I think, we only speak about your Retouch Pro channel where you're teaching design, photoshopping, all that kind of stuff. Then you also had the photography channel. Oh, you did separate channels, but what I know is before starting all those, you did a lot of couple other stuff, You tried doing skits, you tried doing comedy videos, you tried doing cat videos, you tried doing dirt bike videos.
Yes.
So you also tried a lot of things, which comes around with this whole terminology when people say, fuck around and find out. And so what was it like? Is it a thing of at some point you kind of figured out the system in building an audience, building a community, and building engagement on YouTube? Because it's very different from social media, right? You were doing social media as your fully day and bread. I think that time, as you said, you were also quite lucky because no one else was doing it. So you were able, so whatever you do, people just also believe you, in a way. And it was, I think, working pretty easily because there wasn't as much competition. But now with the YouTube thing, it's a different mindset that people are in when they're coming to look for content, because this is where they watch the long stuff, where they really tap into your content. What was your strategy in terms of building an online audience? Because, I think you're one of the only few people that have really done something like that in Namibia. And
look, there's always different topics, right? There's either your entertainment, your infotainment, or your educational stuff.
Yeah.
Most people choose entertainment and funny videos. That's way tougher than tutorials.
Really?
Yeah, entertainment is quite tough because to make it out there. Once you're big, and that's easy. But with tutorials, you always had a good hit rate. Everyone wants to learn, and especially if it's for free online. But what really changed for me was collaboration. But there's no secret source of how to get big on the internet. Big is just you hang with other big YouTubers.
Ah, okay.
Like you would do 1 or 2, 3 good value stuff things, then you would basically collaborate with another guy who does Photoshop tutorials. And also in the same niche. And then some of his followers would follow me and then back and so with, and you do that for say 3, 4, 5 times. And all of a sudden you quickly reached maybe 50 to 100K subscribers. And then the snowball starts. Then you're ready. A new person finds you, he finds 3 or 4 videos. Within those 4 videos, he needs to already be hooked and think, okay, this is quality. Then they'll definitely still check out your stats a bit. And if they see, oh, this guy has already 150K followers, okay, I'll easy press subscribe as well, and I'm interested in his content. But if you have 10 followers, yes, your video might be good,
but the credibility is hard to get.
It's like, this guy's new, he will stop tomorrow, so I'll check him out, maybe tomorrow, maybe not. They don't take you serious right away. If you have massive following, they take you away. It's easier to get a bigger following when you have a following. Then the start is the toughest part. To just get to like 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000. But in that time, collaborate a lot, produce a lot of content, be out there.
But also,
push.
But also even the content that you are pushing out, right? Because over 10 years, you've made hundreds of videos. That's a long time. And now even further down the line. So at some point, what did you realize in terms of creating the content itself to really be able to give value to people? Was there like a system you were starting to follow, or some patterns you were starting to recognize in the sense of this content performs best, this kind of YouTube videos perform worse? What was it like?
There's definitely like certain techniques that were always hidden, so they are quickly to be seen, or people wanted to definitely see it. Then of course they also have a niche like the automotive retouching or car, to retouch cars. Not a lot of people do that or can do that. So that niche was quite untapped. So I did that. But as an example, for instance, I run a second channel. It's called Tronics Design. It's a weird name. Makes no sense, but anyways. Where I teach design in Photoshop. That makes no sense either.
Yeah.
And that channel blew up as well because I actually found a niche of people that it helped. Meaning, I had a lot of mothers that are at home, have time, housewives, or even young individuals that didn't want to learn InDesign or go into a whole graphic design career and do the whole, like, understanding InDesign was so, it seemed so overwhelming.
Yeah.
But Photoshop, it's fine. They can dabble already a little bit. Even the housewives knew what are layers and so on in Photoshop. So I taught people how to do a quick birthday card or some weird stuff on Photoshop. Or, hey, I'm a business owner and I just need a logo. I don't want to hire a bloody fucking company now and pay 10K for a logo.
Yeah.
I just want to put the Tate Kulu and maybe something, you know?
Yeah.
Can I just, as an entrepreneur, quickly do it myself and then start it? Yes. Photoshop, it looks easy. So I did that and it blew up because a lot of people, like, I found the niche. Maybe that's what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Like cat videos also. Cat videos were at one point in Japan just blowing up. People would just search anything cat videos. But the recipe was you needed to have a Bengal cat. Interesting fact, I bought a Bengal cat for 15,000 Namibian dollars, flew her in from Cape Town, did 3 videos, all idiot, that's just stupid, and stopped. But I still have the cat.
You still have a cat?
But at that moment, I also thought, yes, I figured it out. This is
cat.
the niche. I need to do cat videos with Bengal cats, and I will get a big audience.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. On the other side, again, with the Photoshop tutorials in design, that kind of blew up. So there I hit it nail on. You know, but so it is difficult. You need to figure that out.
So it's I guess what I'm understanding from what you're saying is like finding basically a problem, a common problem for a large enough group of people.
Yes,
basically.
Yes. In the tutorial spectrum.
Yeah.
That helped me to grow, and then from there you can develop. And once you have a following, then you can actually explore to go in the direction you like with the channel. Don't mess up the actual core of it, right?
Yeah.
Your target market wanted to see this. Now you're effing it. Now you're posting car videos on it. No, now you are ruining your own channel, right?
Yeah.
So you just stick a little bit within the niche Photoshop.
Yeah.
So that helped me to grow bigger. But then from there, it's quicker. Then I started doing bike videos of enduro bike drives and a personal channel and business stuff. Then you quickly have offsprings, right? Because now your followers are following you everywhere. I'm also not the biggest guy on YouTube. I'm also not I only have a channel with 100,000 and another channel I had 150,000. It went down to, I think, 110,000 again.
But that was 10 years ago. That's my point. It's like, that's a prominent thing because, I mean, obviously, and also I think what makes it very different is because you're one of the only few, I think you even got awarded best educational platform in Southern Africa on top of YouTube Plaque. I think you had 2 of those at some point or something. So it's like, I think that puts you in the unique position where you are technically the only person that has that in Namibia. That's a fact. I don't know about South Africa now, in Southern Africa and other places, but that's a fact.
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
So I think at that time it was very prominent because now since now everyone being on social media, when you have 100,000 subscribers, it's like, oh yeah, cool. I know like 100 other guys or something like that. But back then it was like, damn, you really had to put in a lot of work, right? I mean, even to be able to produce an output of 2 videos a week, that was quite a lot of work. Nowadays, you know, people are posting like 400 times a month.
Yes.
So it's crazy.
And AI and all of that.
Yeah. So now also my question is, from a business point of view, I mean, you've also dabbled in a lot of different things like construction, you know, you've got cosmetics with your wife, you've tried selling random things. So from a business point of view, being now in the marketing space, what is it that you would say are some of the key things that you've learned that have allowed you to maybe progress and build a company like ProStudio to where it is now, or to be able to, even when it is starting something from scratch? Because I've heard you speak about starting different things from scratch and everything. Is there like I don't want to say a formula, but to you, when you look at something, from what mindset in perspective do you look at it? It's like, just to give context, is maybe sometimes it's like about solving a problem for people and all that kind of stuff. But even so, when you're solving a problem for people, how do you find these problems to solve? I remember one time you took me to that other random construction site where they were like those guys with the beams and everything. You get there, you're like, oh, are you guys gonna do anything with these beams? They're like, no. And then you take like 2 of them, and then you take me to that shop. What's it called? Wonder what? That Violence Warehouse. Yeah, the furniture shop. You get in there, you show me the same beam, but now in that shop it's got a couple of lights and it's now going for like $15,000-$20,000. So just from that things like that you got for free, you can literally go buy a couple of light bulbs and go sell it to them for $10,000, $8,000, and they go sell it for $15,000-$20,000. So that kind of mindset, understanding opportunity, it's like, yeah.
Often it's like just you walk in life and you see problems. Then how do you solve these problems?
Yeah.
Like I myself, I would like to have that expensive beam in my house. So I go to Violence and I see a price tag of 30,000 for it. And I'm like, what an idiot would pay 30,000 for this old plunky?
Yeah.
It was lying on some farm for 20 years in the rain, and now it looks beautiful because it looks retro, vintage, with some new lights from Megatech. $30,000?
$30,000.
And that's where something like that starts. Where it's like, where do you get that?
Yeah.
How do you get it? How does it get so old? No. And then it's actually my problem is I'm figuring out how do I make it myself.
Yeah.
Or other things. Like we started in COVID, we had a lot of equipment, right? So ProStudio was losing market share. We lost clients, but we have 20 cameras, we have lenses, we have microphone, we have everything. We have a whole room full of equipment. So why don't we start a rental business? What are we going to do with all this stuff? Why don't we just rent it out? So again, and I guess a lot of people have the same problem. A lot of people want to start doing content now, but they can't afford a new camera that costs you 60K.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, there is definitely a need. There's a problem. Okay, I have the stuff. Let me build a rental business. But that's just the start. I think what then comes is you need to push for at least 5 years.
Yeah, and that's
at
one
least
thing
5
that
years
people don't
of
want
not
to hear.
saying, I'm going to milk my own company. I'm just going to suffer and build it.
Yeah.
You know that I never say I am tired. I hate saying that. No, for real. I hate saying that. Because everyone has this mindset of, I am tired. Like, yeah, everyone is tired and stressed out. But if you hear that 10 times a day from random people, you also like slowly gonna say, I am tired. You're not tired, man. Your grandmother is tired. You are still young and full of energy. So it's just that mindset of I want to push hard to let it make you success and make some money. And then after that made some money, also then wisely invest it back. I also am a firm believer, I used to also not pay a salary to myself or take anything, literally put everything back. Nowadays, I would say that's stupid. You need to also check after yourself because if you die, the whole business dies. So at least make sure you are okay. I'm not saying you need to buy a Porsche tomorrow or Ferrari, but if you just can afford your living currently and make sure you can dress properly, have ability to wash, have a flat, because that also plays a role. You can't go stinky to a client. So you're just hygienic, dressed well, and you have a space to stay, and you like a cat almost. You're secure in your little 4 corners. Everything is fine, and definitely internet because you need to work.
That's very detailed.
Yeah,
Cat and internet.
Like it's just that you then stay afloat and then just grind on your business. And also, I actually have friends nowadays that are worse off than me. But when we were studying, or when I lived in Cape Town, they were studying. I was working already. They had the best life of best lives, party and just did a lot and crazy. But now 10, 15 years later, they're still there. And then I always tell them also, you remember those early days? What did you do between your 20 and 30s? Oh, you just partied. I put that time into myself to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Now in the 30s to 40s, I'm still doing that. I've even met people that are in their 60s still doing that. I think now it's becoming more portion of you can't even socialize anymore. You're just so wired of doing business. But I think that comes back to me also what I said earlier, the chocha bit me. Man, if you make every time you put out a tutorial or a training, as you launch it and release newsletters, I wish I had a bell in my room. It would just go ting, 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 ting. Then you make $5, $5, $5. then of course, yes, the party there or the weekend away sounds nice. But yeah, the $5 ting 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 also sounds nice.
Yeah.
So you're getting hungry for that, right? And make money, make money, make money. It's also like you later then become maybe a workaholic and have other weird things that.
Yeah.
I worked so much out of my room that I had anxiety to go to Checkers to buy food. It was weird. I spent so much time in my own room producing tutorials on weeks on end that it was weird for me to go to Checkers to just buy a chicken. I had the feeling everyone in Checkers would look at me and stare at me and, like observe me because I didn't know how to be around people anymore.
Yeah.
That was also sickening. That was also not good.
Yeah.
Maybe an interesting fact, I even worked myself into hospital. I constantly felt like I've swollen a potato, like it's stuck here. And I would get weird rashes. And then I went to hospital and the doctor just said, yeah, you're just pushing your body too far. And you're getting stress. You also have this internal stress to keep on doing more. So not healthy either, but it comes to all this what we are talking about. I try to push my body to the absolute limit because I want to, it's maybe for myself, I want to figure out how far can I go. It's not like workout in the gym, it's other things. But yeah, back to the basics of, I think with that money, do hustle to make that business. But I think everyone also says that hustle. I think it's work as long as possible, as cheap as possible. Like you just make sure you can live, put all that money back into your business and be strategic about it also. Don't spend stupidly and build it in little slow increments. And then invest wisely to build it better. And also, like you said, we spoke about, identify the problems and see an opportunity and then try it. You need to be also risk-taking with it. So if you see there's a need for it, a risk, but it's maybe a risk, try it. At least put yourself a budget and say, if I lose 100K on it, okay, maybe for a startup that's a lot. But if I have 10K or 15K and it still doesn't work out, maybe there's somewhere where I pull the handbrake and then just go back to safety, right? And say, okay, this is something I tried with the business, but nah, I'm gonna bankrupt myself. So okay, let's rather pursue the safe route.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people also talk about that this two-way street, right? When you do business. So I'm gonna go the safe route only, which then takes long, but it's super controlled and always safe. I have the tendency to always take a quick left or right to try a risk. And then, of course, I do in business then full risk. And then that risk turns out as it's like ProHire, actually. ProHire is our rental business. Yes, in COVID, many people said to me, that's the stupidest idea ever, doing a rental shop in Namibia with little equipment, like microphones and cameras and stands. You're going to be robbed the first 2 weeks. No one is going to rent. The market is too small. Every photographer has their stuff here or videographer. 5 years later, this is a business that can employ 3 people now at least. And we're not the biggest business yet, but we could actually employ 3 people and it's a running business. Yeah. This is now our 4.5 year. But it's still, we just consistently, slowly build it. Yeah. So it's the next thing. There's still more businesses. I'm not going to talk about all of them. Similar mindset. I will talk about one more business that I put a lot of money into. It has absolutely great systems theory. It's the worms thing. Yeah. I told you many times about it. Yeah. It's a long story for now. It's basically black soldier fly farming. That miserably went south because one big off-taker cut, right? So there it's very volatile as well. I've also started businesses that are super volatile. I could have taken that money and just started an Airbnb business. It is more safe route. We took the hard route and did a very risky business. And that backfired, sure. But it's a learning curve as well. Yeah. And I don't sit at night and say, I lost all that money and cut myself the throat or something. Yeah. No, it's a learning curve. For me, it's like, okay, I lost that money. I need to learn from it. So we call it learning money,
Learning money, because it's not small money as well. I mean, you've probably invested millions into different businesses, right? And so also when you say something like 5 years, I think a lot of people don't want to hear that. And then another thing from my side as well, I think when we speak about stuff like this, business related, what time is it now? We've been talking. Yeah, entrepreneurship related even. I think people always think to build a successful career or whatever, you always need to be an entrepreneur, which in my case I found that you can even do it as an employee, right? But obviously not at the same scale. It's just that whole thing of I've seen now this whole thing of immediate gratifications. Like people are so, everyone wants results like now.
Yes.
Now. Like, oh yeah, let me come and work for you. Oh, I started, even if someone starts, like, let's say for example as an intern or something like that. Oh yeah, no, I want to make 30K a month now already. I want to make 100K a month now already. I want to make $1 million a month now already.
Yeah,
So it's like, what have you learned in terms of, because I can imagine, because you do things with urgency, you're also somewhat an impatient person.
Yes.
But in a way, you still need to be patient. So how do you balance it out? It's like, what have you learned in terms of, putting your eggs in the basket? And sometimes, because sometimes you just have to wait.
Yeah, look, I can tell you this, I can say this to it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are entrepreneurs, they just don't know it themselves. But if you're a lazy entrepreneur, you will not be successful. And if you're a lazy person in general, you're not going to be successful. You need to push yourself a bit to get there. And it's not for 100 years. A lot of guys that do that for 5, 10, 20 years, depending on how tough your industry is or your business. But once they go over that hill, over the toughness, it's just home run, then it's easy. But that first 10 years, the mindset needs to be right. You need to not be a lazy person. Because there's no one going to poke you with the fork and say, hey, get up, go to work. No one cares. It's like university. They don't care if you're there or not. You are physically having to push yourself. So it's your mindset of being patient. I also am a firm believer of assist, work for free, ask questions. Don't be rude, but just be around. Learn, steal with your eyes.
Yeah.
Copy, learn, and be calm and work somewhere for free, learn the trade a bit.
Yeah.
And even if that takes 4 years.
Yeah.
But after that 4 years, pretty much, then you can go at it, or 5 years. I'm not saying you can now be a doctor or a lawyer or so, but I said like in the creative industry, you will learn a lot. And after 4 years, you will definitely be able to most probably run a business like us.
Yeah.
Also, the mindset, exactly like you said, you won't be rich overnight. There is nothing like this quick rich schemes. I mean, I've also tried certain things. With investing and schemes and so on, you always see these dollar signs. There is no getting rich overnight thing out there. It's literally hard work and years. I think it's just more invest clever and work wisely with your money and be patient. And yes, of course, there's tons of people that come for an internship and then where do you see yourself in 5 years? Yes, I'm going to be the CEO. I'm like, okay, great. I actually like that you want to be the CEO. So you can take all my responsibility, all my problems. I'd love it. They even pay you for it. These people will fold within the first year, not even first months, because they don't understand. You have to work up for it, right? And also, being that impatient, everyone wants to be a CEO tomorrow. It's not going to happen. I mean, you have to be patient. And then as well, it's your mindset constantly. Work hard. I mean, have you ever tried this challenge of just say yes to everything? I know me and my partner, Yaku, we tried that. We said to us, this whole year, we're just going to say yes to everything. After 2 months already, you will realize, I'm busy. I do a lot of things, even if it's for free. I'm not saying you get to be paid for everything. Just say yes to everything. Your aunt phones you and says, hey, I have to move my plants this weekend with my bucky. And you just say, yes, I'm joining you. I don't care. I'm just yes. You get what I'm saying? You help out there, do this, do that. Then you also start realizing you can be this very superhuman. Because you're just out there, everywhere, helping, doing. Business. I'm patient, I'm waiting, I'm doing that, applying that to my business.
I think I should.
Not saying you should do it always, right? There's also stupid things, but it's just a test on yourself a bit.
Let's go rob a bank, yes. I think I should.
I mean, that will go a bit far, but I mean, to help out and to grow, and not to, like a lot of people would say, okay, drive to the south, do a video there, spend 5 days, and you need to hike a canyon.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, this sounds, the heat. I'm not going to do that. Nah. It's way too difficult. And instantly you tell the client already, we booked, or it doesn't work out or so. Instead of saying, I'm up for the challenge. I'm going to do it. I know I'm a bit underpaid, but I will have that under my belt. And I know the difficulty, I've done it. And you again stand up for yourself in your own business. It's very weird for me to explain it, but you will find it in other businesses as well. There's always things you don't like doing. Right, so you will find yourself this like, no, I've done it. I know how it is. I'm patient. I give this another. For me, there's also a point of I give this another 5 years. by then it should have worked out, or either I'm dumb in business, or it's really not working out in the way, like I don't have customers who want this, or the sales are not there. So you need to be realistic also, right? So can't be dreamer.
Yeah.
But the patience is the biggest key. And do things for free also here and there.
Yeah.
I think also one big thing that people always forget nowadays is, why not do it for free? Is it going to hurt you so much to just say, sure, I'll help you out. It's fine. I had that last week again. The client said, what does it cost me? I said, nothing. Just do it. Just take it. Why? What's it? And I'm like, no, it's fine. You rent all the time from us. You help us. You're like you're a continuous client. This is me giving back. I'm also a firm believer of that, giving back. Then it will come back to you. Even though people don't think about that.
Yeah.
But now we're getting into theories that we can talk out for hours.
Yeah, I think also this thing of just doing things for free in general, it is an interesting concept to me, because obviously I also worked for you at some point for free, and I can say in that time, it's like what I've realized, when you do things for free from people, they kind of put you on a different place in your mind. Because one thing I noticed, for example, when I worked for you at that time, it's like at some point it's like, oh yeah, you're 1 month in, okay, cool, you're not that close. 2 months in, 3 months in, you're like, oh yeah, do you want to go to my construction site? Oh yeah, there's another business here, Skin Concepts. I'm like, oh cool. Then so later on, because I think also because of the fact that someone might be doing something for free, maybe to the other person, it's like they kind of feel this responsibility to actually also give you some form of value in return. So because of that, I was able now to get information and knowledge and access that you normally wouldn't just give out to anyone randomly, because I was, willing to do all this, put in the work, sitting here, the hours.
But it also shows me you want. You are willing, you are the one that wants it really. You're not just a fly by night. You're not like someone who's just here for 2 weeks and like, okay, I'm going to copy this. Do it. You will anyways fail. There was numerous people that did that. And after 2 weeks, they fly, or a month, and then 1 year later, they start their own business, 3 months, 5 months. Failed. Business bankrupt. What I mean is they don't have, if you have the patience to stick around, be humble, be respectful. That's what I did for 4 years. I assisted someone for free for 4 years, but I learned everything about the trade. I got many contacts, and a lot of people also respected me for just being this humble, polite, quiet person in the background. Meanwhile, you're the silent viper because you learned everything now, right? Just waiting to unleash it in your own side. But in that time, it's what a lot of people don't do anymore. Everyone will come, okay, I'm a videographer. It's like, how many years do you do videography? No, I started in December. Okay, it is December. Okay, so what I mean is I started 2 months ago. Okay, so you're 2 months in, you are a professional videographer. Yes, and I want 10K now. Like, that's my minimum pay, minimum. So what videos have you shot? No, I will shoot videos. Okay, that's for me someone that's like, I don't take you serious. Yeah, it's fine. You're a videographer in your own mind. For me, someone who sticked around maybe a few years, who actually does some proper stuff, is still humble, that will take you way further. And also, like you said now, I don't think it's more the responsibility of showing you, but I am allowing you more in. So if I stick around with another CEO perhaps for a year, he will actually open up a bit more. It's like you are working at a company for 1 year for free, and maybe after that 1 year, the random Friday, the CEO will just ask you, hey, Sunday, you want to come have lunch? No, honestly, and then that's like, okay, it took me just 1 year to win that person's trust. But I showed for 1 year respect. I was on time. I showed willingness to I really want this. On that Sunday, he might just say, you know what, I really like you. You pushed for 1 year. You showed that you want this. I will make sure you will have a job with us and we'll take you further. And if you then, that's how a lot of people also get further. They then actually get a job. Then they perform still well, still humble for 5, 6, 10 years. They're now all of a sudden bigger position, bigger, and then maybe it goes faster, and then you are in that family or in that business. Where others, snotty, like rude, just instantly want it. That has faded for me also a little bit.
Big ego, think they deserve everything. And
It's like we can talk for hours about this. I think we have to get to an end. But
at some point.
certain influence in this country. Yes, you have 200K followers, but what are you really contributing to our other creatives? Number one. Number two, you have just a chip on your shoulder, and we call yourselves a brand pitch already. Every agency or company is just throwing money at you because you have 200K followers, but only get 200 views. But you have a big... And Namibia is so small. I mean, yes, of course, maybe certain people will, there's a bunch of people that will watch your content because it's maybe fun and engaging. But are you really a big influencer in this country? Do you need to have that chip on your shoulder? So maybe my mindset is different there. I don't know. It's like some influencers in this country, I find them too arrogant.
Yeah, I think
but
a lot of companies...
I'm not way to judge. I'm just saying
You're starting to see a shift where people want to work more with micro influencers than macro influencers, because somehow at some point a lot of people, once they get a certain amount of followers, it's getting to their head and all that stuff, and so it's like they've got this ego right there on top of them where they're just not nice people to work with anymore. They think they deserve the world or something like that. And I mean,
because maybe they also just do this for 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't want to name names, but there are certain people that also went quite high. After 5 years, you grow, you become a different you also. And then you actually go into a complete different new thing, and your following also dies down again.
Yeah.
So what happened to a lot of artists back then when still Kwaito artists were big?
Yeah.
What did you do in that moment when you had the fame? Some started a hoodie business or a property business or something. It's what also a lot of actors then do, right?
Yeah.
You still look at other legs because the fame is not going to be there forever.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I'm not no way to judge about that. I'm just saying that's what I observe sometimes. It annoys me. Comes down to business as well. Certain people have that in business. I gave up fighting it. I'm like, I do my things. I try to stay in my own space, not to be more in other space, and like I said, I run in 1 or 2 businesses, try to rather focus on that. I can maybe also elaborate on that. Running too many businesses is also not working out. Because, like they say in Afrikaans, die pap val op die vloer. Whatever that means. Like you have too many things on your plate, things are just falling off. Yes, that is what it is. And it's just chaos. So it's also good to sometimes, just... focus on one business. If it runs well, that's also what I learned. Then start the next one.
I mean, we've started a business together before, so I know definitely a thing or two about it. But because I remember that time when we tried to do this whole Yango thing and everything, but also in general, I think over time I realized the importance of focus. It's so... It's like... You always say, you've said this to me a couple of times, I think, where you say sometimes it's important to just be there, to just show up, to just, you don't even have to do much, just be there. When the opportunities are there, just be there hanging around somewhere in the corner like a little fly there on the wall or something. And, it's like, so similarly, I would put it in the same lane as focus. So it's like, same thing with business. Sometimes you just need to show up and do something every single day, and then one day you're doing something, you put your head above the water. Oh, cool! Yeah, there's the ship over there. Let me go to the ship.
You said it actually 2 days ago. You started your month very shitty.
Yeah.
Bank account was empty. You made 100 calls, and now you have gigs.
Yeah.
That's what it did. But it took you, and not laziness. It took you as an entrepreneur, willingness. I'm going to push through. If it takes me 100 calls, I'll do that.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I also clocked many doorbells. So, went to a lot of people to get work. It wasn't just always on the plate like this. It sounded like this now, maybe on camera, but you do a lot of things in the background the grind of no one sees you there at the office between 6 and 1 a.m. No one sees that. No one knows that you woke up at 4 and went to the office at 4:30, because when people arrive by 8, that is morning, some even say afternoon. I said, don't get that. So they really don't know that effort that you already put in there. A lot of people they didn't think it's easy. Cool. Yeah. I run a business now, I'll be there.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've also realized, in terms of having dreams and goals and whatever. Dreams are for free. I mean, ideas,
often people, I think, also don't execute them, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has dreams, but are you actually doing something about it? Like for me, I always wanted to have a studio with employees. I really badly wanted that. So I worked so hard to get that. Then you achieve it. That's my biggest problem. Once I achieve something, it's like a bucket list. It's ticked off and I lose complete interest in it, which is also, I don't know, it's with me like that. You build it, it's making money, everything. Then I just check it off. I lost complete interest. Then I'd rather go to a shitty job and start with zero again. And then try to build that up. Once I achieved it a bit, so I'm suffering also under something like that.
Yeah.
To when it's bigger, how to like keep it and grow it even bigger. So that's for me like a thing that I want to learn still in life.
I think you enjoy the journey.
Yeah, it's easy to start a business, but once it's there and it's working, I often like, well, there's certain things that I do nowadays to improve and to work to make it bigger.
Would you say then maybe it might be something that makes you very good at maybe, let's say, starting things, a very good founder, but not necessarily the greatest CEO?
Yeah.
Because I think...
Most probably.
Yeah. At some point...
It's also because maybe I don't like then people management and other things, but I've also learned to just give off. It's fine. I can hand off stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, that running company with 20 employees, I would never go back to that. I just don't enjoy it as a human being for myself. I rather enjoy it because I manage myself.
Yeah.
Now you manage 20 people. And that 20 minutes late coming from employee 3, that fucks with me. It fucks really with me that I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed the whole day. Why? Because candidate 3 or employee 3 came 20 minutes late.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird. It just messes with me. So I'm better at managing just me, myself, or 2 people. Not 20.
Yeah.
So it's not for me. Hand that off.
I can definitely agree with that one because
you're laughing at your team now. I know what you mean. Yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons why I don't really come into the office that early anymore. So it's like I just create my own schedule, like where I come maybe let's say anywhere from 9:30, 10 p.m. or maybe even 12 midday, and then work into the night rather. Because I had a period where you'd come into the office. I'm like sharp. I'm early. I'm setting an example. I'm in there 8:30. We only open the office at 9. Sometimes we're even in at 8. And then the first person will come at like 9:15, 9:10. Yeah. And then my mood is just for the whole day. I'm just like, of course, it's like you see it today. Okay, cool, fine. Or maybe they were just late. But then you see it happening the whole week. You're like, this is what's happening when I'm not here. So now I'm just like, I don't even want to see it. We're just going to check, okay, what was done at the end of the day. Because it's like, it ends up like messing your whole mood the whole day and everything.
I think one thing I've learned also is, I like to push my body, right? Sleep little, do as much as possible a day. But another human being doesn't like that. They're best if they are slept long, if they're comfortable in their space, then they perform best. So I've learned also over the years, I cannot force myself onto that person and have them also work like me. That's my ideal world, because then we are the same hard pushing. But I often realize I am ruining that other person. I'm ruining that employee. I should rather look out a bit like, okay, there's certain terms. You start 8 to 5, great, with your lunch break. But I'm not going to unleash my whole mindset on you to accept or to ask you, let's stay at the office and work till 11 tonight. Yeah, and let's do that for a whole week. It's not going to help. She's going to resign, or he or she's going to resign after the first week. So I also learned I cannot do that to others.
Everyone is going to be like you.
Yeah.
Basically.
I'm also not saying I'm a superhuman or perfect. I'm not saying that. I'm just, I like to push my body.
Yeah.
It's like some people say you will have a heart attack with 50. Yeah, then it might be. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think also, I don't know if you feel the same, but personally, it annoys me when someone comes, because obviously you've had also quite a lot of job interviews. I've also had a couple of job interviews, but everyone is a star in a job interview. You sit there and they'll be like, oh no, yeah, I got these great dreams, I want to achieve this. And then someone will be like, I've had job interviews where people sit there and be like, oh yeah, I want to be a billionaire, or I want to build a successful company and whatnot, or I want to drive this nice fancy car, I want Range Rovers, G-Wagons or whatever. And for me, I actually believe you in that moment. I'm like, cool, great stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. I would love to be a part of that journey. So how do we get there? And then the person is coming into the office. Yeah. Let's go have some fun, can we please finish work at 4 p.m. today?
I guess that's why then they are an employee and an intern. Because if they didn't have that mindset, they would already run their own company.
Yeah.
Or hustle on their
I
own
guess
as
so.
a freelancer.
And so, yeah, for me, that's one of the most annoying things with people is because it's like dreams are for free. So, you know, and people think it's impressive to have these big dreams and everything and whatnot. But what's actually most impressive is how you can execute on something like that. How do you, what's your plan to actually get things done? How do you make things happen and all that and so forth? So, yeah, let's round off the podcast and get closer to the end.
Long.
We both need to get
we can do a part 2 at one point.
Yeah, I was thinking now we should probably do also like a work, not necessarily a workshop, but where we do like, let's say, building your business from scratch and then go step by step what you would do.
Because I can tell you still one thing for the end.
Yeah.
You can achieve so much in this country if you're not lazy.
Mm.
And really if you push harder than the rest, because the standard is so low.
Yeah.
I'm not a superhuman. I'm not perfect. Said that a few times. But I just feel our standard is so low in Namibia that if you push just harder than the rest, you'll quickly be there.
Mm.
You will quickly make some good money and have achieved something. There's nothing with us, with me being better or anyone. It's literally, it's just put in the hours and do more than others. That helped me always to get forward. And then push yourself a bit. It's easy to say I'm tired.
Yeah.
But you're not tired, man. Yeah, fuck. Imagine you go for a festival that you paid in Europe. Will you say a day to, oh, I'm so tired? You'll be like, no, I paid for this flippin' trip. I flew all the way to Tomorrowland. I'm going to party for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
Or will you then also say, I'm tired, and you go to your tent and sleep? You won't do that. I mean, and apply that to your business. Take the party to your business.
True. I have actually 2 things or maybe 3 things I want to mention before we close off now. First thing, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm dressed like you today.
I noticed.
So I came prepared for the podcast.
I'm just a normal guy. I just wear my normal stuff every day. Because here you're in the office, then you step into concrete, and then you're out somewhere else again. I just don't go into beauty shops.
Functionality. So yeah, and then the second thing for me is I'm very curious. What sort of expectations over time have you grown to have for me, or about me? What sort of expectations do you have about me, and do you think I'm living up to those expectations? I'm just genuinely curious.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I think you're a go-getter and you know what you want. You sometimes just don't know exactly how to achieve it yet because you're in a learning phase with certain things.
Yeah.
So you're still trying to figure it out. One thing I do know, you're in our co-working space here with the Hub Initiative and in the ProStudio space. I am on the CCTV cameras and I get every notification of alarms. So I do know the hours you put in, how long you work. We never talk about it, but I can see the willingness of you wanting to do this. A lot of people say, yeah, I want to run a business, a 7-figure business. Yes. Yeah. But they knock off at 5:30 every day to chill on the couch at home still and watch YouTube videos and dream, right? That's not you. You're actually putting in the hours. Also weekends. I think you're also very hungry. You want to achieve something. Certain things you're maybe still in the blue a bit. What I mean with that is because you don't know yet, but there's no fear of risk. You also take it on. You're doing it. Trying new things out, and sometimes you burn your fingers a bit, and of course you back down a little bit again. Or I think that's what we two had a bit. Lots of things you try, and then I already like just wave from the back and say, yeah, you can try it, but I've also tried it. Maybe take this road because out of experience, this one also hurt me. So I'm trying to wave you in that direction. And then you're actually pursuing it and following it. So, but in general, I think you're a go-getter. You want to achieve something. You want to get there. You put in the hours. You're pushing yourself. You still have time to work out also. And you're not a talker. You're starting to become a doer. Like in the first weeks, you were a bit the talker. Honestly, where I think like, it talks a talk, but that changed into results also. You can see you come from somewhere where you want to achieve this. Of course, you must also look a little bit behind the scenes, obviously. What I actually want to say with that is a lot of people see me also as like, Manni, whatever. His parents are maybe rich and he got funded and he has everything. Nobody knows that I started just with 400 Rand. Had 60K, spent it on a stupid college that I quit after 7 months. Right? And then you start with nothing. And a lot of people then just think, oh, you already got rich parents. If you check in your background also a little bit, where you come from, and like that also shows the input. You are sometimes, you're not really, maybe also a little bit forced. You have to make There's like there's no option of failing.
Yeah.
If I fail, I'm just going to sit at my mother's house on the couch and she's going to yell the whole day at me that I should go out and go out and work.
Yeah.
You are also not that type of guy.
Yeah.
So you're rather going to push in the hours, put in the hours, and trying to get it done. I think it also has to do with you. You don't want to be seen as...
A bum.
No, like your mother will be like, yeah, I've got 5 children, but this one, it's just here at home on my couch. You don't want to be that one, I guess.
Responsibility.
And if you achieve more, and once you have some finances, that also enriches your personal lifestyle, which is also nice, right?
More.
Everyone wants to just be a bit fancy and be able to afford something nice for a change. And once that chocha has bitten you, I think once or twice, so you know what it feels like. So, okay, then you work hard to get it again.
Yeah. I think what I can definitely say about the whole beginning part, it's, I thought I was a hard worker. I was like, no, I'm Ignatius, I do things in my own free time and everything. But then I experienced, there's more. You can get more done. I think one of those things was what was with Zoka. She's actually one of the also because like you spend time in the office, but obviously sometimes you go out and you have a lot of different things you have to do throughout the day. But with Zoko, obviously she's an employee of the company, so she was more so in the office. And I would see Zoko the whole day, no one disturbing her. When someone comes and disturbing her, she's like, no, I'm working. Be like, oh, so you can do that. When people come to you, you don't have to talk to them, things like that. And then I would always also sometimes also try to challenge myself against Zoka and see like, okay, let me put my timer. Zoka, okay, what time is Zoka leaving today? Let me leave after, because I don't know if you remember that time when I had that challenge where I was like, I want to be the first one in the office and the last one out. Yeah. So coming in the first, like that was a bit tricky because Irene would be there, but technically she was not an employee of the team. But even if you apply it
in different companies, no one does that.
Yeah.
Be the first in the office and the last out. Just try it for 1 month. Like Dini. Dini has never tried it. Say Dini's here every day.
You must tell him.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm going to just see it. It doesn't. I'm not picking on Dini now. I'm just saying. Apply that once in a business and you'll see things happen for you. Because other people that are higher up than you, they do notice. They do notice, this guy he wants something. Like he's genuinely there. He wants to push. Yeah. That's why it's like stick around. That's what we also often say. Just stick around. People don't have the tendency to do that anymore. They want instant gratification. It's like, no, I'm here. I want the job. Nah, where's my pay? Stick around.
In my Porsche.
Stick around. And then it's like you said now earlier, I'm often in and out the office, yes, but nobody actually knows me the first 2-3 years in office. I had once an employee ask me a question, if I ever go home. I'm like, I go home every day. I don't know what you mean. He's like, no, every time I get here, if it's early or very early, you are here. The windows are open, the whole building is open. And every time I go home or go home late because I didn't meet my deadline, you are still here. Do you live here? I said, no, I go home as well. But the hours I spend at the office are from 5 to maybe 10, 11 at night. Okay. Like every day. And then you still go home and you maybe push it 2-3 hours and then you sleep from 1 or 2 a.m. till 4 or 5 and just have 2-3 hours sleep. Great. It's a whole long conversation we can have about sleep because I'm definitely sure people don't need to fucking sleep. So much sleep. When you have kids, you will also realize that. What your body can achieve when you have 2-3 kids, you start focusing and functioning on 2 to 3 hours every day. Okay. That was insane for me too. When I had kids, I realized, I can actually do a little bit less even. I could sleep 3-4 hours. It messes still with you, but after month 3, you really get used to it. You just watch out for 3 o'clock, because 3 o'clock is going to hit you like a hammer. 3 o'clock, you're going to feel like you just want to fall into your PC. Literally like this. Because you are so tired at that moment. Again, mindset, you're not tired, man. Anyways, thanks to Ignatius for the podcast.
Yeah, this has been an interesting chat. Very long, man. I keep telling people that the podcast is going to be 45, 60, 90 minutes.
I know.
Then 2 hours later, we're still sitting here. But if there's a message that you'd like to leave to our audience, anything that you'd say you'd like to live your life by, or, for the people that are watching, getting started into entrepreneurship and all that, what do you have to say?
I think just push harder than others and push for yourself. not for anyone else. Push for yourself. Like push it yourself. Push yourself to a moment where you really feel like, okay, I'm gonna puke now. Or I'm really like super tired, and for a longer period, work more, like do more, work harder. Then you will achieve it. Not just a week. You have to push yourself for a long while and do it for yourself. So it's not like I'm gonna do this so I have been seen by my friends and then they can talk about me. It doesn't bring anything. Yeah. Do it for yourself. Like I wanna be I want to be a millionaire in 5 years. Okay, what are you actually going to do about it? Are you going to work every day on it? And then, of course, you need rest in between day and day as well. Like, I understand if you're super tired and on a Saturday you just want to crash, then do that. But then again, you push maybe the next 7 or 8 days hard. Mm. And if you find yourself at night super tired and it's 10 o'clock and you feel a bit depressed and no one is around to like... You know, some people always, they flourish when they get seen. Like,
yeah.
I'm doing it. Like people talk about you. Yes, did you see how hard Ignatius works? And that energy feeds off you? Get rid of that. I did that also for a long time. But like work hard to get that gratification from others that say, man, he works hard. And at one point, as soon as people get married and family and so on, it fades. It's like after school, friends fade, right? Because they move on. Mm. In business, you just realize it's not for these people for that talk. It's for myself. And then I'm also a firm believer of let your actions speak for you. I don't need to drive around in a fancy car and, you know, wave the money around. But one day you'll come past somewhere or you'll see me on the lodge and you're like, whoa. Well, you know how it is. You see yourself in the holiday situation and you're like, yeah, you here? What's happening? Or the guy might see you somewhere, or you bought something. Mm. Maybe bought a new car that you did take out for a drive now, and then people say, yo, how did he actually afford that house? Yeah. How did he actually afford that car? I thought he's fucking poor. Oh, he actually has some stuff under his belt. And I like that more. It's like the silent person rather. Yeah. So I think what I'm trying to say is here, do it for yourself. Push for yourself. You're hard. You either push yourself. Because no one is there with the fork poking you saying, yeah, Ignatius, work harder, work harder. Do it for yourself. And in 10 years, you will see how people, even your parents will be the first. Like, there's one last thing I can maybe say. My parents are actually very poor and they really suffer. It's still one of my goals to one day just go to my dad and say, here's a present for you. Here's a brand new bucky or whatever. Or when he gets to old age home, you know, to be able to retire, to say, you know what, I bought a little flat for you. Just live there. It's all paid for. That is the moment why I work hard for, right? Or with my kids nowadays. Work hard so they can have a better life. But it requires me now not to listen to all the talk, blah, 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 and friends saying, whoa, or flashy stuff. Yeah. I do it for myself so I know one day, yes, when I'm on my deathbed, yeah, I think I gave it my all. Mm. And that's what pushes me. Yes. Long talk.
Well, guys, that was the More Than Logic podcast. Thank you so much, Manni, for this interesting conversation.
Pleasure. You just asked 4 years.
Yes. You just took us at least 1 year, you know. And I think it's nice to finally get you back on camera because I don't think you've been in a video for the last, 7, 8 years?
Yeah, 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. So we need to get you back starting your podcast again. We need to get back starting your YouTube
Yeah, maybe
stuff
next year we can restart sessions again. So
yes.
I did a podcast in the past called Sessions Namibia under ProStudio with my partner Yaku. So maybe starting that out again. But it's more business related as well.
Good stuff. Good stuff. But all in all, thank you for all that you've done for other people that have not thanked you as well.
Don't worry.
I know you've trained, you've grown a lot of people. Thank you for what you've done for me as well and allowing me into this space. I think this was coming into this space, I remember the first day I met you, I randomly just searched, podcast in Namibian. And it was almost like 15 minutes from closing time. I was just randomly like, let me just make a turn to this place. I've been seeing it around. That was, I think, the first moment for me where I felt like my podcast can actually be something. Because then I saw this space, I was like, oh, there's something like this where I can really grow it into something. So no, thank you so much. And
you're welcome.
Cheers,
yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in again to the More Than Logic podcast. where big dreams are celebrated. And once again, this was Manfred Werner on the podcast together with Ignatius Jingura, your host. And I'll see you in the next one.